Welcome, virtual racing fans, to another live production of the Canadian eMotorsports Network and the NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Tonight, it's once more Season 5 action here on the iRacing platform. It is Round 9 of 22 at Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. It's the Piping Kettle 300, and it's going to be our most grueling and longest race of the season. 300 miles, 200 laps. We're going to get all into it in just a little bit here, but to start off, of course, the voice is in the booth as per usual. The voice you're hearing right now from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island in the play-by-play role since Season 4, it is Jordan MacAulay, and on the other side, he's been here since the very beginning from Alberta, Canada, or at least in Alberta, Canada. It is Jordy Carraher. And now we will go to the commentator's booth here and introduce ourselves here visually. And so, Jordy, coming off a race at Sonoma where we saw one of, again, we've talked multiple times about how the term rookie is a little bit awkward here in the network, especially, with someone like Jordan Kalenian here in the number 0 or 0-0 because iRacing issues there, something like that. But a guy like him with the highest I rating in the whole field comes out, absolutely dominates the Bangarang Hard Seltzer 110 at Sonoma Raceway, his second win of the season. And again, he's 2 for 2 now on the road courses this season after previously winning back at the series' first ever race at the Circuit of the Americas back in April. So again, that rookie term is a little bit awkward. We still use it with the rookie points because we got to keep it consistent from the past couple of years. But again, still a newcomer to the series. What a hell of an immediate impact he's made so far. And he's looking to keep that momentum going and hopefully maybe try to get a win perhaps on an oval here sometime soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's ridiculous, and then there's what we saw last week, quite honestly. It was literally night and day between Kalenian and the rest of the field. I mean, yeah, there were lots of guys who gave a great effort, but really nobody had a match for the 0. And as you say, that's, pretty much full dominance on the road courses so far. 118 out of a possible 120 points in the 2 road courses to this point this year. I mean, hard to really argue with that. But yeah, tonight the scene changes and, it's back to a place where, yeah, you might say it's been known for a little bit of chaos in the past. So we'll see if history repeats itself here tonight.
Absolutely. So going into the results of last week's race at Sonoma Raceway, Jordan Kalenian getting the win. He also won both stages and the pole, and he led practice that night as well. So practice qualifying racing, 3 in a row right there. He also led the private practice session that happened the night before as well. So just first on the board in absolutely everything. The number 1 Tornado Alley eRacing driver, C.D. Mangrum, qualifies 4th, finishes in 2nd. He led 3 laps. Corbin MacAulay in the number 17 started 2nd, finished 3rd. Yet again, another podium finish, top 5 finish for the veteran. Jose Mercado, a fellow veteran, finishes 4th. Justin Belmonte, the sophomore, finishes 5th. Both of those drivers in 4th and 5th, qualifying outside the top 10, but making their way up through the field throughout the race, and especially Jose Mercado, who managed to lead 4 laps and really give a hell of a battle to Jordan Kalenian early in stage 3. Jordy, man, he came out of left field and put on a hell of a battle there, especially after having a bit of a rough qualifying run there. And to see him there battling for the win, we've seen how much he's improved over the season so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a strategy gamble from the 41 that put himself and Mangrum toward the head of the field to begin stage 3. And it was funny, even Jose himself commented after the fact that he was surprised that he was able to hold Jordan Kalenian back for a few extra laps after that last restart. But yeah, I think obviously, as we were talking about, going from 12th to 4th over the course of the race, I mean, this is a guy who's starting to find his feet under him again. This is a guy that's, in the heyday of the console games, he was a tough guy to beat. And once he starts getting that confidence again, I'm going to say, look out.
Indeed so. Decently in the playoff picture so far. We'll get into more than just a couple minutes. Then there's the number 32 of the reigning IndyCar Series, Dart Series, champion, however you want to put it. Charlie Sears qualifying third, finished as sixth, so his road course prowess continues on. An improved result, especially after finishing, or I believe it was qualifying sixth and finishing 11th back at Circuit of the Americas. Fellow NASCAR Series newcomer Adam Wilson finishes 7th. Andy Hurdle, Darcy Ford, and Ty Higginbottom, a pair of veterans, rounding out the top 10, and those were all the lead lap cars. And then a bunch of cars going a lap down in there. Bryce Fontaine fell just short of a top 10, but a solid performance after, again, it was a bit of a roller coaster of a race for him. We saw him in the sand a couple of times, saw him going around a couple of times as well. Kyle Noel falling just short of the top 10 as well after qualifying inside the top 10. Same situation for someone like Mike Marini in 15th. And again, some unfortunate circumstances for 4, 5, 6 drivers who did not end up finishing the race. Guys like Hunter Young, Mark Ouellette, Chase Speedy, Jason Butler in there as well. And now moving on here to the driver standings. Should be noted, of course, the driver standings that we put out every single week go off of those, in order it goes off of those that are already locked in the playoffs. And then we pick out, we start off with the guys with the more wins. So MacAulay, Kalenian, Higginbottom so far with 2 wins apiece. Adam Wilson, Jared Ireland at 1 win apiece. And then the rest of the way, we put in all the drivers in order that have not yet won a race and still have to make their way into the playoffs on points, at least so far. I mean, you see a guy like C.D. Magram, who still has yet to win a race this year, but man, oh man, he has come so close so many times. Andy Hurdle's still well in the playoff picture at 71 points above. Darcy Ford moved his way up. Ford and Belmonte swapped. Mercado and Marini swapped. And how about that? The recent momentum from Charlie Sears has him 8 points above Kyle Noel for that final playoff spot. 2 drivers, a NASCAR Series rookie and a NASCAR Series sophomore, duking it out for that one final playoff spot. And again, including tonight, 7 races remaining until the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs. Man, oh man, Jordy, we're witnessing a battle for the ages, and we saw a couple more drivers like Trevor Binns and even Tom Janikowski kind of in that battle in past races, but they started to fall off a little bit. Again, though, still time to get back into the picture.
There is, but tonight's going to be a turning point because
yes,
and we'll obviously get into this. That additional stage could be life or not life-changing. That's obviously way too serious, but you know, it will make a huge impact moving forward in the standings. Like, we're into the second half of the regular season now. And again, having the 4 stages tonight, that's just an extra opportunity to pile up the points. And you know how close things were at the end of the regular season last year. It could just come down to whether or not, you know, something significant happens in this extra stage here tonight. So I think, yeah, tonight will start to, I think, clear up the playoff picture a little bit, but I think we're still in for some fireworks here.
Absolutely. We are, again, 300 miles, 200 laps, basically a half Coke 600 coming up here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then looking at rookie point standings, newcomer, however you want to put it, Jordan Kalenian, Adam Wilson continuing their battle for the top spot out of all the newcomers to the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Jordan Kalenian, race winner and points leader. He made his way over Adam Wilson right there. Charlie Sears getting the second best finish out of the 10 drivers. As a matter of fact, though, we've added in an 11th. I'm going to see if he's on the track right now practicing. We might as well maybe get an angle of him. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that'll work. William Kern, welcome to the Canadian eMotorsports Network from Dansville, New York, driving the number 31 for 585 eMotorsports in a Chevrolet from from Dansville, New York. Teammate with Bryce Fontaine. So again, we saw Chase Beatty come back. We saw Bryce Fontaine join the series. And then we get another driver coming into the series here 9 rounds in. So to put that all together now, including Steve, if we were to include someone like Steve Escoffier, who hasn't been here since the second round 2 back at Las Vegas, we do have 25 drivers on the roster, but based on attendances and such, still averaging maybe about 22, 23 drivers per week, which still, quite frankly, that's still excellent. And to be getting some of these newer drivers here coming into the series, especially after many names that we did lose over the off season from season 4, it's great to see. course, William, welcome to the network. Jordy, do you have anything?
Well, I mean, from all accounts, and obviously we do vet any and all drivers who do come in, and there was obviously the connection to Bryce Fontaine going in, but William Kern, he's here on his own merit. He's got a really strong iRating from what I've heard. It was Jason Butler who was ultimately doing that scouting, and by all accounts, it's another solid driver to be adding to the field. And, we keep talking about the parity in the NASCAR series, especially if, William Kern's able to get up to pace here, so to speak, and, kind of make his mark. I think that's just, further endorsement of the fact that, this is one of the better series around, as, Corbin's going to do the Ghostbusters thing behind him.
Yeah, what else is new? But Kern is sponsored by Tap Tag, Pride and Trust Painting, and Carter Racing Paints. So he's got a couple partners and support behind him, along with, again, having the relationship there with Bryce Fontaine. So, of course, William Kern, once again, welcome to the Canadian eMotorsports Network and the NASCAR Series, as it looks like qualifying is about to begin here for what looks to be 20 drivers that will participate here in tonight's event, the 5th annual Piping Kettle 300, last year called the World 300 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. For a couple of Charlotte Motor Speedway facts as the cars qualify here for about 5 minutes. Charlotte, of course, entering its 5th year of operation here in the NASCAR Series, a 1.5-mile oval in Concord, North Carolina, with 24 degrees of turn banking, 5 degrees on the straightaways, the front stretch and the back stretch. Opened in 1960 by Bruton Smith and Curtis Turner. Longest stock car race ever, began since the very beginning with the World 600, home track of many NASCAR teams, a capacity of well over 90,000 people. Very fast track, not a whole lot of off-throttle time, especially with the next gen. And man, oh man, Jordy, we've seen in real life too, so far after 2 years at this track with the next gen, we have seen some absolutely brilliant intermediate racing with that car, and we saw some incredible racing with the car in last year's 2 races, of course, the World 300, and then we thankfully had a shorter one in the playoffs where, again, Corbin MacAulay dominated the World 300, but then that race in the playoffs, he had to battle against 3 other cars, and he barely won by 31 hundredths of a second. Or 3, however you put it.
No, that's fair. In the 300 edition last year, you mentioned the great racing. It's also, it goes without saying, produced some chaos that would fall very much on the other side of great. But, I think the, again, overall quality of the field, and we were kind of talking about this off camera before we went live. You know what? I think that this will be a race where guys really kind of want to, further establish or cement their positioning in the playoffs. So I think guys will be on their game tonight. And I think we're going to be ready for some, hard racing from start to finish here. Whenever the finish happens to be, because it's going to be a late one, folks.
Indeed, so you gotta buckle up and maybe carry a few Red Bulls or something with you. Of course, drink safely. Because, last year's World 300 ended up going for 2 hours and 42 minutes with 15 cautions. So again, not to maybe lower the confidence of anybody watching this or even the drivers that may be listening to this in some capacity, but fingers crossed, especially with the driver parity and the competition we've seen so far this season. Hopefully we'll be able to get through this one. We were kind of joking around behind the scenes of whether we're going to be over or under 2 hours and 42 minutes. But again, we did have a bit of a grueling race back in North Wilkesboro a couple of weeks back. Well, to be fair, it was a short track. This is an intermediate, but still, we're keeping our fingers crossed. But tonight's race, of course, just like last year, it's going to start a day and a night. It's going to be a temperature-sensitive track. Lots of changing on that end. And I've been talking to a couple guys here before tonight's event where apparently it's going to be, especially at daytime as the sun is setting, you would think it's going to be a slick track, but there's drivers that have been saying it's going to be tight. It could be tight as well. So there will be drivers that are going to be loose and tight. to start at
Okay,
least.
so yeah, we have unpredictability on top of everything else that Charlotte can bring. Wonderful.
And then, of course, at nighttime, there will be a little bit more grip, so we might see some close racing. We might see some guys start to pull ahead and eventually, find a pace that's able to beat everybody else. We shall wait and see. But, of course, the keys to a good finish here in the 5th annual Piping Kettle 300, tire wear maintenance, good pit strategies, avoiding incidents, enduring the long distance, got to have that patience, of course, which, that goes into the 5th point. You got to be patient with this race because, again, 4 stages instead of the usual 3 for every race, 50 laps each. Like you said earlier, Jordy, that extra stage is really going to be crucial in terms of points for some of these guys. Again, still trying to maintain their spot in the playoff picture, trying to, again, still have that strategy to eventually go for the win at the end. And for all the guys, again, still completely outside the playoff picture, trying to gain their way up, again, including tonight. 7 rounds remaining until we get to the playoffs. There's a little bit of time, but time's also ticking.
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, we're into the back half of the regular season now. And yeah, if it wasn't go time before, not many better places than Charlotte to really, kind of further emphasize that. So again, knowing what's coming and what's potentially at stake, this is going to be an important one here for a lot of guys. So I'm expecting, as I mentioned earlier, some hard racing. Will some things happen? Wouldn't be surprised. And yeah, we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. But yeah, looking forward to an eventful evening one way or the other, Riggs.
Absolutely. It's actually looking like we're going to have 21 cars here on tap to go for the win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway tonight. And of course, not trying to spoil any specific names, but some of the guys up front, you wouldn't be surprised by the names at all.
Well, rather than getting into that, I'm sure they're probably looking for a, infamous race control voice at this point, if I had to guess.
Yeah, just cross it off on the bingo card. Just don't try to win it on lap 1. I don't care if it's a super speedway or not. Even though it might seem like one tonight.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Charlotte. Like, it's definitely got those characteristics as we see a little bit of gritting happening. Whether we're at the head of the field or not remains to be seen. Well, now I think we're probably at the head of the field or closer. Indeed, but again, we'll go over that on the other side.
Indeed, so I'm going to head into race control here, send a quick message to these guys, and get the cars and stars of the 2024 Canadian E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue fired up. Get these engines fired up to go for 300 miles, 200 laps here at the iconic Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. Who will become the next winner of the Piping Kettle 300? We'll be back soon. The engines have been fired up here on the front stretch at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, ready to go green. 300 miles, 200 laps. So let's go through the starting grid and find out who will be the superstars of the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, participating here in tonight's event. And so, starting on the front row, where we have I said earlier, no surprising names whatsoever, looking to go for 3 wins this season, 2 in a row. It's the number 0 Toyota of Jordan Kalenian from Salisbury, North Carolina. On the other side, it is the veteran who's looking to win 3 consecutive races here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the number 17 Chevrolet from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. It is Corbin MacAulay. Row 2, where we have the number 1 Toyota from Tornado Alley E-Racing, C.D. Magram from Atlanta, Georgia, looking for his first win of the season. Very long overdue for one, especially at this point. Alongside him, another guy looking to win a race this season. He's won at Charlotte in the past. He won the first ever running of this race. The number 64 Chevrolet for 519E Racing from Harrington, Prince Edward Island. It is Darcy Ford.
All right, and rounding out the top 5, we have race winner from a few weeks ago at Dover, the number 21 Tornado Alley Toyota of Adam Wilson from Laurel, Delaware, starting 5th. And on the outside of row 3, starting in 6th, is the number 7 519E Racing Chevy of Andy Hurdle from Dayton, Ohio. And we move on to row 4, where we head to Eudora, Kansas to find the number 4 Chevy of Mason Tomlinson starting in 7th. And, we're in Charlotte. You're in Charlottetown. Charlie Sears is from Charlottesville, Virginia, that is. The number 32 Chevy will start 8th.
Rounding at the top 10, we have rookie number 33 in the Koopa's Racing Toyota from Winter Haven, Florida. It is Trevor Benz. Alongside him, a guy who contended very much so in last year's playoff race at Charlotte, the number 6 Ford for GTR from Pachico, New York. It is Justin Belmonte. Row 6, where we have a pair of, go figure, it's the teammates and the guy that's making his debut here tonight. And the first one, of course, making his debut a couple weeks back. The number 22 Chevrolet, Chevrolet's right.
Well, that's what's on the graphic.
Yeah, Chevrolet it is. A bit of a brain fart there. From Laverne, Tennessee for Bryce and Jim Motorsports, it is Bryce Fountaine. Alongside him, teammate, the number 31 from Dansville, New York, it is, for the first time in the series, welcome, William Kern.
All right, moving on to row 7, where we've got a couple more 7s in the form of the number 77 Ford of Hunter Young out of St. Catharines, Ontario, starting 13th. Then we have a multiple race winner this year, the number 97 Tornado Alley Racing Toyota of Ty Higginbotham out of somewhere in North Carolina, soon to be Kansas City again. He'll start 14th. And starting 15th will be the number 9 Toyota of Jason Heaney out of Altoona, Wisconsin. And then we head to Kissimmee, Florida to find the number 41 of Jose Mercado. He'll start 16th in his GTR Ford.
Kyle Knoll will start 17th on row 9. The number 15 Storm Surge Esports Toyota looking to score back-to-back Piping Kettle 300 top 10 finishes and looking to get himself back in the playoff picture. 8 points behind the 12th and final spot held by Charlie Sears. Beside him, the number 93 Chevrolet from Appleton, Wisconsin. It is Tom Janikowski, still looking for that first top 10 finish this season. And then alongside them, the number 12 Toyota, Mike Marini from Thunder Bay, Ontario. He went up and over in last year's race. He's looking to finish on all 4 wheels at the checkered flag this time around. Alongside him, the number 10 Chevrolet for 519E Racing from London, Ontario. It is Jason Butler. And around it, everybody, the number 16 Chevrolet from Portland, Oregon, Ryan O'Toole. So quick race analysis, 200 laps, of course all 4 stages, 50 laps long, pit road speed of 45 miles per hour, fuel window about 25 to 30 laps. And here they come to the green flag, 300 miles, 200 laps at the iconic Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are underway with the Piping Kettle 300.
And just for our over-under, no, not FDA sponsored, but for our side over-under, I do have the online stopwatch going, so I'll report as we go along.
Side by side through 3 and 4, Jordan Kalenian, the newcomer, Corbin MacAulay, the veteran who's won 2 races in a row at Charlotte Motor Speedway, looking to make it 3 in a row. He slides in behind the 0. Kalenian will lead lap 1.
Yeah, able to hold on to that one nicely was Kalenian. He's not going to be a guy who's intimidated off the top. Obviously a very experienced driver, as we see MacAulay with a bit of a wall tap out of 2. And that'll allow Kalenian a little bit of breathing room, but given who's behind him, it won't be much.
Most cars have gone single file here to start off this one. I mean, pretty reasonable for how long this one's going to be. A couple of double file action as we saw Ty Higginbottom, Jose Mercado going at it. They still are for that 14th spot.
Yeah, and a little bit of movement in the top 10 as well. Adam Wilson and Darcy Ford trading places, 4th and 5th respectively. And then Mason Tomlinson and Andy Hurdle doing the same for 6th and 7th. So, yeah, a little bit of a tap. Was that Sears or someone else in the background?
That was Charlie Sears that got into the wall hard there out of 4. So did Trevor Binns. Trevor Binns just stood there coming into turn 1. All 4 cars keeping it straight, though, on 4 wheels. That's what matters the most here early in this one. But meanwhile, Kalenian and MacAulay separated by 3/10, a second ahead of CD Magram, Adam Wilson, and Darcy Ford inside the top 10. Mason Tomlinson looking to make his way up, battling the inaugural Piping Kettle 300 winner. And, of course, Darcy Ford carrying on the title sponsor of tonight's race on his number 64 519 eRacing Chevrolet.
Yeah, and pretty academic on that high line from Tomlinson to get himself into the top 5. He's a guy that, you know, if the chips fall his way a little bit more, he'd probably be a little bit more prominent in the playoff discussion right now. But again, if that dude didn't have bad luck, he would have no luck at all. That's the way the first half of his regular season's gone. And like I said, tonight's going to be a turning point for a lot of guys. I'd put Mason Tomlinson near the top of that list.
Bryce Fontaine making his way up to the 7th spot against the number 7.
And while we were talking, Tomlinson goes to 3rd.
Sears with a bit of a slide up the track there, almost contact with Andy Hurdle. Ty Higginbottom also had a loose moment coming through 3 and 4 on the previous lap.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a feeling out process here, I think, especially you have Will Kern there in the background. Ultimate feeling out process is debut within the series tonight. I'm not sure if he was in the practice session. Again, for those unaware, I don't have iRacing, so I'm unaware of these things, but if we can confirm that perhaps this might be literally his first exposure to the other drivers in the field. So we'll see how the 31 hangs in there.
We were obviously talking about him. He was in the pit box during that practice session, but I believe he did take a couple laps, if I can recall. But so far, so good out of him. Just trying to, just barely outside the top 10, looking to challenge up there now. Or actually, no, as a matter of fact, as I say that, he's going to take that final spot inside the top 10. Past Andy Hurdle, Justin Belmonte to the high side.
Yeah, Hurdle with a little bit of a slow start. Here again, he started 6th here tonight, now has dropped outside the top 10. We'll have to see if maybe the 7 is trying to play a bit of a long game here. It's long enough as it is. Hurdle might try and play it longer.
Maybe a bit of an uncharacteristic start so far for Ty Higginbottom, but just trying to maybe survive for a little bit right now as they were 3 wide. They're going through 3 and 4. Jason Butler up into the outside wall. He falls back. Another wall tap. I think someone else did as well up front.
Yeah,
everyone's keeping it straight.
See the smoke or scuff or whatever came up off of that barrier.
Higginbottom to the inside of Hurdle, who's really fallen back right now. About to fall outside the top 15. Now over 10 laps into tonight's event. Jordan Kalenian still leading the way, but a 3 or 4 tenth difference between them. They're almost 3 seconds ahead combined, ahead of Mason Tomlinson, who's made his way up to third.
Yeah, I was saying that when we were talking about him before, and like he's put a bit of a gap on even Mangrum and Wilson here, that kind of chasing duo with Darcy Ford there in 6th as well. So really impressive start out of the 4. Again, the starts have been one thing. He's proven that he can drive toward the head of the field. It's just a matter of converting on it for the 4. That's been kind of the Achilles heel over the course of the year. And, he needs one of these to go his way to really get himself back into the playoff chase.
And especially right now being
57 out.
Yeah, 57 points out. He actually, at one point, he was right there on the cusp of that final spot, but has really fallen out in the past couple of weeks. Just really needs to get those stage points and a really good finish at some point very soon. Again, 7 races left, including tonight, but still time is ticking until we get to the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs. 5 spots taken. There's still 7 remaining. And man, oh man, when you take a look at those 7 spots that are currently filled, or they're currently who's in them at the moment, man, oh man, the competition is absolutely unreal.
Yeah, and again, you look at really the first 3 or 4 names on the outside too. Realistically, if any one of those guys gets hot and strings together a couple of solid finishes, I don't think anyone's going to be safe until that checkered flag flies, in Rockingham in 6 weeks time after tonight?
June 25th.
Yeah, so that adds up.
And again, too, having 12 playoff spots instead of 16 that we've had for, I imagine, every single year since the very beginning, as 3-wide action into turn 3. Mercado, Sears, and Belmonte. We'll see if they're all going to hang on. Sears looks like he's going to play it smart and take himself out of that. Oh my gosh. A wall tap and nearly quarter panel contact there as well. But yeah, Jordy, I assume it's been 16 every year up until now.
It has been, correct.
Yeah. So the one year where we take away those 4 spots, and now we're seeing this driver parity in the competition that's been at its all-time high here in the series' history.
Yeah, and I think it was sensible based on the sheer numbers that we had driving. Let's foster that additional competition, and I think it's paying off in spades so far, isn't it?
Absolutely is. Again, through 8 rounds, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4. We've had 5 different winners through 8 races. So that speaks volumes right there.
Yeah, and the last 2 weeks have been repeat winners. So at one point it was 5 and 6. So
yeah.
Again, that just is a further demonstration of what this field is capable of, top to bottom.
And yeah, we started off with that parity, but of course, as you said, we've had a couple repeat winners recently, so there's a couple drivers. Again, it's expected that as the season starts to progress, more and more drivers will start to more likely repeat. Mason Tomlinson got on the wall there off of 4. He had quite the gap over Mangrum, but I'm wondering if maybe he used up his tires just a little too much, because he's really started to fall back. Now back to 7th. But as I was saying, though, as the season progresses and drivers start to, get more comfortable and find a pace as the races go on, especially with the circuit parity that we've so far had this season and will continue to have throughout Season 5, of course, drivers will start to find their pace, their comfortability, and what do you know, we'll start to have a couple repeat winners. Maybe every now and then we'll get a couple new winners. It's pretty much expected.
Yeah, and I think we might be starting to get into that sequence a little bit, especially, getting into a little bit of a pattern with the different track types. Yeah, that was a little hairy.
Trevor Binns in the wall after close racing there with Justin Belmonte. Kyle Knowles going to dive it into 3. He's barely hanging on to the inside line. He slides up just a little bit. Belmonte maintaining his groove. Everybody keeping it straight, though, off of 4. Now, more contact there between the sophomores on lap 21 of 200. Again, just kind of recalling what happened last year. Like, so far, we've had contact, and now actually the thing, I just thought it. Hopefully it's not foreshadowing for later, because, I mean, remember in North Wilkesboro early in the race, it actually was pretty decent. We were able to get through it, and then stages 2 and 3 happened.
I was going to say, then I showed up. As we see, looked like a little bit more contact there, but, like, even I watched back the 300 from last year, or at least a little bit of it. The first half was pretty tame, quite honestly. Obviously, that second half was its own animal, especially the last, say, 10 to 20 laps. But, you know, even now you see the hard racing so much for the feeling out process, eh, boys?
Indeed. Fingers crossed it's not too much foreshadowing, but how about this? As Tomlinson's fallen back yet another position, William Kern has made his way up to the 7th spot. There's a decent gap in between the guys in front of him. And behind him is Jose Mercado, looks to take advantage of Tomlinson for the 8th spot.
Yeah, we'll have to see what this kind of opening pit stop window looks like, and whether or not it's going to be, you know, contested under green, or whether something happens between now and then. Again, knock on wood or something. But yeah, I mean, it's been a good hard start so far, it has to be said, as that's Ford diving in on the inside for 3rd. Nice recovery from the 64.
The Piping Kettle Chevrolet makes his way up to the bottom end of the podium, as Kyle Knoll will make his way down pit road. He's the first driver in what looks to be the first green flag pit window. Again, as we were talking about, as I said in the race analysis, the fuel window is about 25 to 30 laps. So it looks like we're seeing some of the early takers here.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of more or less splitting the stage in half at this point, give or take a lap or two. So, I mean, there's something to be said for, you know, understanding the car you have underneath you. And I mean, that's going to kind of influence what happens pit stop wise. Maybe the tires feel good. Maybe you try and make a run of it. Or maybe you go for the full service and not chance anything until a little bit later when the stakes are higher.
So Kyle Knoll took 2 tires and fuel. We'll see what a pair of Tornado Alley e-racing guys and GTR's Jose Mercado are going to do. Mercado is going to go for just fuel. Looks like Higginbottom, all 3 of them right there besides Butler are going to go for just fuel. Corbin MacAulay now makes his way in along with 3 other guys.
Everybody's feeling good so far. See how long that lasts.
We'll see if Kyle Knoll might be able to take advantage of that in some capacity, with just it's 2 tires, not 4, but anything helps.
Again, how many times have we said it? He's the guy that doesn't necessarily always follow convention in terms of pit strategies. So, yeah, we'll see if the early 2 does him a little bit of a service here.
Heaney, Binns, and Tomlinson all go for just fuel. MacAulay, the first driver we see taking 4 tires.
Okay, I think that might have been a case where maybe he did the opposite last year and that came back to bite him, or am I thinking of the Kansas races there? Because I know there were certainly a couple where that first pit stop / tire change sort of undermined the 17's efforts.
Yeah, certainly has had a couple of times there where some decisions have haunted him, and again, that's just the way it goes. You learn your lessons, you get humbled, and you learn moving forward. As now Jordan Kalenian's going to pit from the race lead. Darcy Ford, the title sponsor car, will now take it over.
Yeah, again, we'll have to see just how long this pit window stretches, and we'll see ultimately where everybody shakes out. And yeah, the strategies of some of these later stops, I'll be very curious to see how those work out in the last, roughly 20 laps of the stage.
Kalenian's going to go for 0 tires, just fuel. Looks like all the other guys there behind him, Young, Janikowski, and Marini, going for just fuel. William Kern, Bryce Fontaine, pair the teammates down pit road.
Yeah, I get that. Certainly a little bit of a feeling out / integration process. Why not pit together to try and kind of keep things consistent, for lack of a better term?
Fontaine goes for just fuel. Kern decides to go for all 4 fresh tires. Darcy Ford pits from the lead. He will have it taken away by Adam Wilson. Belmonte, Hurdle, and Sears will follow behind. And yeah, besides Wilson will be the final car here to come down pit road. So after that, we'll see how many laps these guys, or how many laps we'll have until the end of this first stage. Most guys right there going for just fuel.
Yeah, and Wilson, a few races ago, I remember commenting on him certainly going long. So I wonder if maybe his tire management tactics operate a little bit differently than the lion's share of the field. So we'll see how much longer he stays out, or he could just peel off right now.
Oh, a very wonky entry right there. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he might have sped. Again, that's just visual speculation, but fingers crossed that did not happen for the number 21 blue label and Johnny Walker Toyota Camry. He still maintains the race lead, but Corbin MacAulay and Jordan Kalenian are going to come around on lap 34, as Wilson is going to go for just fuel by the looks of it.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're 2/3 of the way through the opening stage. Why not see...
Oh, well, my speculation might have been right. 20 seconds.
Okay, and yeah, I mean, he did... I don't know if he was trying to ride the wall, maybe to scrub some speed before the line, but yeah, certainly some early damage to Adam Wilson's night, but he's got time to make it up. That's the thing.
And how about this? 2 guys that took fuel. Corbin MacAulay, or took tires, Jesus. Corbin MacAulay taking all 4 tires. He is the race leader by 3.5 seconds over Kyle Knoll, who, again, as we saw, took 2 tires. Got quite the battle brewing here for the bottom end of the podium. Jordan Kalenian, Jose Mercado, and C.D. Magram. 3-car battle for third. Or Darcy Ford following in behind, but a second back in 6th. Ty Higginbottom has eventually made his way up after a bit of an uncharacteristic start, at least position-wise.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy that's, we use him as sort of a benchmark of consistency within the series. So even though he qualified a little bit lower, I'm not especially surprised to see him having moved up the board a little bit. And again, still lots of time for him to make an even greater impact on tonight's race.
I was wondering I was wondering, there was somebody I knew that wasn't here tonight, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Now I do from the behind the scenes chat I just saw from earlier. The number 80 Koopa's Racing car, Mark Roulette, not here tonight, but it appears as though he is watching the race. So, hello, Mark.
Yeah, he had mentioned that, tonight he might not be available. So, yeah, good to see you kind of watching everything there, Mark. And, yeah, we'll see you back on track here soon enough.
Indeed, so hopefully it will be next week on May 21st when we go to Iowa Speedway for some more short track racing here in the Canadian E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. And again, we were talking a while back about the first half of the regular season. We saw quite the entertaining stretch with, Daytona, Vegas, Phoenix, Circuit of the Americas in there, Kansas, Dover, North Wilkesboro. But then this second half stretch that we have right now going on, like we started with Sonoma, now we're at Charlotte tonight. Got a couple tracks coming up that we've never been to before. Ending, and then there's Monza to start off the month of June. You got Rockingham to end off the regular season, and that's the throwback race too. Whew.
Yeah, and again, the throwback, I'm just thinking ahead for myself a little bit. Throwback means we're not stopping for stage cautions there, I believe, correct? So trying to add that one up in real time.
Ooh, man.
Oh, boy. Which is also going to be my reaction that night as I try to figure out who's in and who's out.
Yeah, exactly.
In real time.
Yeah, of course, there's that little... there's that little part of us that indeed wants to see some sort of a close points battle when that race does indeed come around. A couple races back, we had like 3-4 drivers like right on the cusp, well in the running for that right there. And speaking of multiple drivers here, we have a 5-car battle for third.
Let's go, boys.
And this is with 10 laps to go as Corbin MacAulay's leading Kyle Knoll by 3.5 seconds. Knoll is 6.5 seconds ahead of Kalenian. They were 3 wide going down the backstretch as Darcy Ford fell back. William Kern's trying to get on the stage end podium.
Yeah, I wonder if Kalenian might be getting hit by not taking tires here.
Yeah, Kern took 4 tires, so big advantage for him. Oh my gosh, I really thought he was going to slide up into Kalenian. I wonder if netcode might have happened there because they were so close. Oh my goodness, how on earth was there not contact there?
As a reminder, folks, this is stage 1. Wait to see what's coming.
As long as we don't wreck, just keep this going.
Yes.
That's all that matters. Man, oh man, William Kern, welcome to the series. Holy moly. Again, it's still early, but making an immediate impression.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be a little bit too much of an ask to see if we can track down Kyle Knoll for second in the stage, but hey, third in a debut? Oh boy.
Hopefully he'll be able to keep up the momentum for 3 more stages, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, and this start, it has to be said, if it holds right now, is huge for Kyle Knoll, because if he holds on to second, that's 9 points. He's currently 8 points out of the playoffs, so immediate dividends there if he's able to make that work, especially with Sears currently outside the top 10.
A final car on the lead lap is, again, Adam Wilson with what I speculate was a speeding penalty there because he had a bit of a wonky entrance as the final car to pit under that last green flag pit window. Back here, 20th a lap down. Sears has now just gone a lap down as MacAulay passes him. Jason Butler's 2 laps down. Jose Mercado looking to get past Darcy Ford for the 4th position. He'll clear him down the backstretch. Cars starting to separate after we had like a 5-car battle for third going for a couple laps. But again, though, William Kern had really caught up to them after taking the 4 tires there on his pit stop. So go figure, you got MacAulay, took 4 tires, he's leading. Kyle Knoll took 2. He's second. William Kern is clearly catching up back in third. If this stage was longer, I'd even speculate if Kern's able to maybe catch up to Knoll for sure, but I'd argue with MacAulay. But we've got now 4 laps remaining here in stage 1, so the number 17, unless complete catastrophe occurs, he's well on his way to what would be his 5th stage win of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly 4 tires was the move here. I mean, the way he was battling with Kalenian in the start was one thing, but the 17, since putting the new boots on, pretty much turned into a rocket more than a race car.
We got Mark Flott here in the chat saying, let's go CD Magram. So there's the support for the number 1 Tornado Alley E-Racing Toyota, sponsored by Nordic Aluminum. in 7th, or actually, as I say that, Justin Belmonte is going to take away that position. So that's one extra stage point loss, but still a couple there for the number 1 as his teammate Ty Higginbottom is quickly catching up to him. We'll go to the inside here for that 8th spot. And it looks like he is going to take it. Magram all the way up to the high side as Corbin MacAulay, 2 laps to go in stage 1, down the backstretch for the second to last time. Well on his way to a stage win.
And fun fact about Charlotte, this is, yikes, this is, I think, it might be the first track this year where we have all 4 previous 600 winners in the field. Ford in season 1, it was Ty Higginbotham's first win in season 2. And then Mangrum in season 3, and of course, Corbin MacAulay last year.
Did you say 600?
Okay, half of 600.
Yeah.
Hush.
No, you know what? You just gave, you know what? You gave out the idea right there. How about we do a 600-mile race? But no, someone like Corbin MacAulay certainly wouldn't want that, as he is going to take stage 1. Kyle Knowles 2nd, William Kern 3rd. How about that? Looks like Jose Mercado is going to come off a 4 and be number 4 to the line. Darcy Ford 5th, Justin Belmonte 6th, Ty Higginbottom 7th, Jordan Kalenian 8th, CD Mangrum 9th. How about that? The number 9 of Jason Heaney will round out the top 10.
And I mean, that could be a big point for Heaney as well, as we get to roughly 26 and a half minutes for that opening stage.
So MacAulay is now tied with Kalenian for the most stage wins this season at 5. They have both won the last 3 stages combined this season. Kalenian, again, of course, swept the stages back at Sonoma. MacAulay gets his first stage win since stage 2 at Kansas.
Yeah, but I mean, it goes without saying that he's done a significant amount of damage over the course of this season. So, you know what? 5 stage wins, 2 race wins. He's fairly comfortable where he is at the moment, but always wanting more. That's the nature of the race driver in him.
That's just the nature of the type of racer he is, of course. And also to add to that, 3 poles. He won 3 straight back at Vegas, Phoenix, and Circuit of the Americas. He hasn't won a pole since then, though. A variety of drivers have won since then, including Charlie Sears, Darcy Ford, Jared Ireland. Jordan Kalenian's won the last 2, including the one here tonight. As everybody makes their way onto pit road here under this stage, the first of 3 stage cautions. Looks like most guys are going for tires and fuel, but guys like Kyle Knoll and Jose Mercado looks... Actually, I mean, I imagine by all the times everybody took 4 tires and fuel.
I mean, it'd be borderline senseless not to in these particular conditions.
And speaking of conditions, track temperature is at 31 degrees Celsius. I believe when I checked there during the practice session, it was at about 36. So obviously temperature slowly beginning to decrease as the sun goes down. But we've seen a couple drivers here have loose moments. Some drivers, we've seen more tight than loose, especially, and it's certainly going to get more interesting once there is a little bit more grip when the sun's fully down. The lights are on here at America's Home for Racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But after 52 of 200 laps, of course, 1 caution, the stage caution, all 50 of those stage 1 laps under green. 3 lead changes, 4 different leaders again. Think about the green flag pit window, of course. Jordan Kalenian has the fastest lap time so far on lap 3 with a 29.8 at 175 miles per hour. Oh, and it's now 300 miles. I guess we were lied to.
Well, I mean, I was saying 600 a minute ago, so... Like, maybe I just have the scars of just how long this night feels embedded into my brain. Because I know in those first couple seasons when we got to Charlotte, I think like back in the days when I was in the Holland College studios, I think it was a midnight departure whenever we had the Charlotte race. Every time.
Yeah, I remember whenever I first came into the network and I sat with you there and watched the race back in season 3. My gosh, that was... that one took
long
forever.
Old night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they were... every one of them has been like that.
But
And
now...
that's even with, like, the heat days deciding that, you know, cautions maybe shouldn't have been a thing at that point.
Yeah, and then now on the iRacing platform, of course, we do still get those cautions, but now being on iRacing, with all this stuff that all these advantages and opportunities that we have here on the platform, certainly different, a lot better. A lot better as in we completely forget the 15 cautions we had in that, in last year's World 300. The playoff race obviously being lesser of a length, not near as bad. But anyways, I was going to say there about the number 17 of Corbin MacAulay, 5 days away from getting behind the wheel of a race car in real life at Oysterbed Speedway. So leading the way here in the Canadian Motorsports Network. Hopefully we'll be, or at least hopefully I'll be seeing him leading the way in his debut this Sunday afternoon, if Mother Nature decides to cooperate.
And that's always the thing, May long weekend, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can never be certain.
And what we're certainly uncertain about is who's going to come out on top here in tonight's event. I mean, so far we've seen the momentum from Corbin MacAulay and Jordan Kalenian, but we're seeing guys like Kyle Noel, William Kern, even Jose Mercado starting to build up some momentum here. Still very early on. We're now just getting into the second of 4 stages here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Pole sitter Jordan Kalenian is back in the 7th position to start stage number 2. So the number 17 Kawasaki and Bolger Motorsports Chevrolet will lead the field. Back to green. Stage 2 is underway.
Looks like a good jump right off the hop here as well. Kind of leaving Noel behind, and now we'll see if Kern's able to sneak up and grab P2. It looks like he has, at least for the moment.
Couple wall taps towards the back there as Kyle Noel's going to trying to dive to the inside here of William Kern, who has moved up to the 2nd position.
Yeah, just kind of following that opening that Corbin MacAulay left off of that significant jump as Kalenian tries to muscle his way up the field.
Justin Belmonte and Ty Higginbottom side by side for the 7th spot. So far, so good throughout the field. A couple of double file action going on towards the back. Adam Wilson's still a lap down, so is Charlie Sears. So 18 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get into luck territory. Could Wilson or Sears? Obviously, Butler a couple laps down as well. But again, still a long night. Still time for things to happen. And yeah, no real reason to suggest one's quote-unquote out of it just yet.
Jason Heaney passes Higginbottom for 7th. We might have a battle potentially brewing here as the number 17 jumped out very far on that stage 2 start, but now the number 31 is starting to catch up with a highline run, then goes to the inside through 1 and 2, trying to get a good draft off the 17 down the back straightaway. Kyle Noel looking to catch up if these two guys decide to duke it out side by side and cause him to have a little bit more speed there all by himself as Jordan Kalenian gets past Mercado for the 4th spot.
Yeah, just taking his time, finding his opportunities, and yeah, just kind of slicing his way through those first couple cars anyway as he tries to get back up to the head of the field. Of course, he was tonight's pole sitter. So would not be a surprise to see him back in P1 here at some point.
Battle for third. Jordan Kalenian trying to use that high side momentum against Kyle Knoll. Almost right down on the apron. Jose Mercado starting to catch up as well. 4, 5, 6. Maybe in a lap or so, we might be able to put a blanket over the top 7.
I mean, you're not far from that now, honestly. And again, all running single file. Nobody really rocking the boat here too much just yet. But again, still early. Let everyone get settled in. And yeah, we'll see when the fireworks really start.
Trevor Benz almost having a moment there coming off of 4. Heaney and Mercado going at it right there. The 9's going to clear for the 5th spot. And then Darcy Ford makes the dive down the backstretch on Mercado. So he'll take 6th. Nice and smooth on the inside line. No sliding up from him. So good stuff right there. William Kern trying to get to the inside of the 17. Not there just yet, though.
But I gotta say,
Heaney's moving up.
Good, respectful racing here, it has to be said. And you talk about moving up, Heaney's another one of those guys who needs to really have a positive performance tonight in order to make a move. With stage 1 results factored in, 39 points outside the playoffs right now. Last spot is now held by Kyle Knoll by 1 point.
Charlie Sears is really going to have to try and hope for a miracle here. Still a lap down back in 20th. But again, still plenty of racing left. Anything is possible here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think Jose Mercado might have had a wall tap coming off of turn 2. Kern still hasn't been able to find a way past, or at least side by side with MacAulay and then past him just yet, but looks like just trying to, maintain patience, not wear up the tires too much. CD Magram is just outside the top 10 back in 11th. Kalenian's starting to catch up now. Kern's still trying to use that middle groove through 1 and 2. Still not able to find anything just yet.
Yeah, but, guys, they're pretty comfortable here right now, it has to be said. And it looks like Sears might be, up to 10th now. So, yeah, back on the lead lap. I thought he might have been one of those guys who was still on the outside. But, I corrected myself beforehand, just as, Sears is trying to kind of navigate his way up the field, grab a couple of points. Here in the second stage, again, still a long way to go, so no real need to panic just yet, but this is where you kind of start at least keeping things in mind with where everyone else is, and look where Will Kern is.
New race leader, the number 31 Chevrolet of Will Kern, to first. MacAulay starting to fall back a little now as Jordan Kalenian, the guy who qualified alongside him, goes to second. On the high side, will they clear? Yes, they will, just barely.
I mean, that's respectful, hard racing there between a couple of iRacing. That's not really wanting to compromise anything at this point in the evening. Still, as I mentioned, a long way to go.
Absolutely, some really hard but respectful racing going on here in tonight's Piping Kettle 300, which is what we love to see. But then again, as we keep talking about that, we keep saying it's too early, so it's like the foreshadowing's all over the damn place.
Yeah, let's not think about that too much yet, though.
No, not yet. As we're on the... We're
on that lap.
Yes, there you go.
Yay! Which puts us a little over 1/3 distance for those looking for more professional analysis.
And no better driver to lead the nice lap than the guy making his debut as Another fellow newcomer in Jordan Kalenian, the two-time race winner this season. Really starting to make his way up here, and now looking to get himself back into the race lead after, again, leading 28 laps until that green flag pit window.
Yeah, I mean, the guys had everything tuned in the last couple of weeks, and this doesn't really feel overly surprising that he's able to kind of navigate his way through the field. And yeah, now he's looking to make the move to reclaim his place at the top of the board, but Kern's going to hang in there for a little bit.
He's not giving up just yet. Still trying to have a little bit better exiting momentum off the corner. But Kalenian holding firm there on the inside. Too close to call who may have led the that lap. As the number 17 has made his way back up towards that front spot. Looking to make it a 3-car battle for the lead. Now with 29 laps to go, I believe that's the math. In the second stage.
28 at the line, but yeah.
Yeah.
Or 73, 200. The live view is potato vision, so if it's 73, that's 27 left at the line that they've just crossed.
No, it'd be 28. 71,
okay, so
71 is 30.
Okay, so I thought it was showing me a 73 instead of 72.
Okay, yeah.
That's where I got confused.
Potato vision.
Heaney's fallen off.
Ooh, Kyle Knoll maybe a little bit there, as well as Jose Mercado makes his way past as Jason Heaney to pit road.
Yeah, I think he's first in.
Want to start paying attention to this pit window, but we're having so much fun up here.
Yeah, this is roughly when Kyle Knoll pitted in the first stage, took the 2 tires, and got rewarded with a second place finish in the stage. As that's Andy Hurdle in pit lane as well. A couple more guys starting to come in.
That is Fontaine.
Well, it looked blue, and I see a 7. Hush.
I know I should hush whenever I thought Hurdle's car said Doritos on it a while back, so.
Hey, you absolutely correct.
The number 33 Mobile 1 Toyota makes his way to his box.
See, that car I recognized at least.
Because you actually could, or because I said it?
No, I recognize the paint scheme. I at least had him that time.
Okay, well, to be fair, that camera was up close.
Also helpful.
You're welcome.
Yep. All good. Speaking of all good, how about this at the head of the field?
Yeah, with 25 laps remaining in the second stage, coming to 24. Kalenian and MacAulay meet together once again. William Kern now starting to fall back as Darcy Ford and Jose Mercado starting to make their way up towards the top spot. Kyle Knoll has fallen off to 6th. So yeah, and then Kern gets into the outside wall there, coming off of 2. We had a couple guys there come to pit road early, but not a whole lot of other takers here. So, oh my gosh, there was nearly contact there between Kern and Mercado, and yet the 31 stayed ahead. Jeez.
Yeah, everyone's hanging in there. But, yeah, knuckles are going to get a little tighter, or fingers are going to get a little tighter on the wheels as the evening progresses, as that looked like that might have been a mini tap. Hard to tell quite that close. I think we're getting a replay here, perhaps.
Yeah, we just, yeah. No, I just did the replay.
Man, oh man, I got to pay attention to that convenient top right corner that Corbin MacAulay does so nicely as Mercado comes in.
Yeah, shout out to the guy in second who, put all this together, or continues to put it all together and update it and improve it as we go here. A lot better than what we had last season, that's for sure.
Yeah, everything just a little more streamlined, a little smoother. Just like this run for the lead, perhaps.
MacAulay takes
a great time camera move.
MacAulay takes the race lead over Jordan Kalenian. Now in lap 80 of 200. Darcy Ford in third. Jose Mercado made his way down pit road and went for just fuel.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. As everyone's, just navigating Ryan O'Toole, the lapped car here.
Kalenian lost about a tenth or so right there because of that, and that's actually going to give an advantage here to Darcy Ford to go for the second spot. Now with 20 laps to go in stage 2, 20 laps to go until halfway.
And again, Ford certainly no stranger to victory lane here in Charlotte. Yes, it was in the console era, perhaps even P4. I'd have to think back how early in the season we made the move. Speaking of making moves, we got someone slowly moving out of pit lane.
That would be Tom Janikowski.
John's the evil twin.
Yeah.
Yep.
A dandy-looking car.
I was going to say a little bit of a different scheme here tonight.
It's got the number 93 sheriff car, something. Door County Sheriff, I believe is... Door County. Something like that.
Okay, yeah, I see the badge on the hood. Makes sense.
Battle for second between the 64 and the 0.
Yeah, Ford keeping a pretty good line here, it has to be said. Like, it looks like Kalenian wants to attack high, but just before he can come down, Ford just kind of closes it off nicely. And yeah, admirable driving / defending from the 64.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
That's an absolute jump scare for Ryan O'Toole. We'll have to see if the 0 had the Adam Wilson kind of a pit entry right there. Justin Belmonte also making his way down. We'll find out if this pit stop ends up being longer than usual or if Kalenian was able to avoid catastrophe twice.
Yeah, I didn't see anything like... I didn't see like the signature puff of smoke that you usually get whenever something goes amiss in pit lane, but... And case in point, I think that was just him coming out, correct?
Yeah, MacAulay now makes his way down as Darcy Ford had taken the lead. Belmonte and Kalenian, I believe, both took just fuel. We'll see what the number 17 decides to do. Remember, he took the 4 tires and fuel and went on to win the first stage. Great call. We'll see if something similar happens here, even though there's
absolutely where
15 laps.
Stage 1 was decided, yeah. Yeah, it looked like there were some tires.
No.
I thought I saw that. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, yeah. Straight up.
Yep. That did not look professional at all, but you got your answer.
Yeah. That's the main thing.
Exactly. But MacAulay decided not to go for tires this time around. And none of these other guys do, by the looks of it.
Well, things starting to cool off. Again, this is kind of the day to night transition here. I mean, we do have the lights on at this point, so might be able to get a little more life out of the tires. So why not give it a go? Especially, we're just over 10 laps away from the end of this stage. So at this point, yeah, game on.
So this is going to give Hunter Young the race lead currently on lap 88 of 200, and as I say that, nope. Well, eventually, no.
A little bit of a pit lane dive there.
There's Kyle Knoll coming off pit road, and he's going to join the track with Will Kern and CD Magram at the bottom of the top 10.
Yep,
And I believe... Sorry?
No, go on. No, go on. I was watching the wrong window. I was watching the YouTube stream, so I was not live. So my point does not matter. Go ahead.
Here is what looks to be the battle for the second stage win. Jordan Kalenian versus Corbin MacAulay, separated by about half a second. Darcy Ford, Jose Mercado, 2 seconds back at the 17. Or actually, it's a 4-car battle right here for the bottom end of that stage. The stage end podium. So we'll see if they'll be able to catch up or not.
Kind of what we saw in stage 1 as well. There was that kind of secondary battle, which provided lots of entertainment, it has to be said.
Yeah, for a couple laps it indeed did that, and then we saw guys start to separate again because of different decisions with their pit stops under the green flag pit window. And the cars right now are coming to 10 laps to go until the end of the second stage and halfway through the Piping Kettle 300 here at Charlotte.
There we go. Gave me an opportunity to get a little water down the throat because, you know, need the voice for how I'm anticipating the second half of this one to go.
Me too, bud. Me too.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say that the second half of last year's race you could literally put into its own single perfectly cut Screams compilation.
Yeah, it about sums up the evening, doesn't it?
Indeed, it did that evening. Hopefully it won't be for this evening. But it would be fun, but it wouldn't be.
And again, kind of similar start here, it has to be said. Relatively calm opening 2 stages. Then the Charlotte calamity happened.
Yeah, they say Calamity Corner at tracks like Daytona and Talladega. That night, it was the Calamity Circuit, basically.
Yes.
It was Calamity Corner was literally everywhere. So.
Yeah, you just literally could not look away from any part of the track without, something happening.
Yeah, and then you're looking down the back stretch as all the cars are coming towards us, and then we see a car go one way out of coming out of the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. Entering the Shadow Realm, leaving, subsequently entering again. It did a lot of things.
And unfortunately, this was the guy that was, that culprit, but hopefully this time around it won't be the case for him again.
Yeah, keep the 4 wheels on the ground, sir. That is, in fact, the way forward.
Indeed so, and it looks like we're getting a battle brewing here for this second stage win. The 0 and the 17 going at it here through 3 and 4. The 17 nearly sliding up the track right there, able to hang on. 5 laps to go until the stage checkered flag and halfway through tonight's race. The 17 was way ahead back in stage 1 as we saw with that 4-tire call. But now this time around, because temperatures have dipped, there's more grip in the track now. Makes things a lot more exciting here.
Yeah, it's pretty much racecraft from here on. It feels like, tire wear really won't have as much of an effect. As you mentioned, things getting a lot cooler. It's up to what's in the hands and the feet to get her done. Yeah.
Not playing it too friendly. Sort of. Oh my goodness. Oh man, he really made that one work. Sort of.
Yeah, we've talked about it being respectful in hard racing. We're still very much there. This is about as good as it gets mano a mano here.
Even though the number 17's already got 2 wins this season, already well locked in the playoffs, so is Kalenian. But we know MacAulay, he doesn't care. He wants his winning ways to continue no matter what. He's making that happen here against Kalenian. Still side by side, coming to 2 laps to go. Oh, never mind. The 0 clears him.
Man, oh man. Yeah, Kalenian just hanging in there. He's had the 17 on that inside groove for a couple laps now, and you know, he just stayed poised and composed behind the wheel, and you know, he's hanging on, and you know, he had the 17 tucked in behind for a bit. We'll see if the 0 can hang on.
That wasn't the only battle. Now the battle is happening back here for the 5th spot. Jason Heaney versus CD Mangrum and Justin Belmonte, as the white flag is out for the 2nd stage. It looks like MacAulay might have used up the tires maybe a bit too much versus Kalenian there on the inside as he started to fall back.
Yeah, there is definitely a management game that has to be played. Yeah, we talk about things lasting a little bit longer, but you still have to kind of make it work for it, and it looks like Kalenian has done just that.
Kalenian takes stage 2. Looks like Higginbottom 3rd, Darcy Ford 4th, Jason Heaney 5th, Justin Belmonte 6th, CD Mangrum 7th, Jose Mercado 8th, William Kern 9th, and Tom Janikowski 10th.
Boy, Tommy!
Attaboy, Sheriff.
Let's go. You know what? We're seeing a couple of different names making an impact here tonight. How about Jason Heaney with points in each of the first 2 stages? This is the guy who's needed the boost here, it has to be said, and picks up another 6 points for himself for that 5th place finish. And yeah, again, a guy who needs those additional points to work his way up the board here. He's still got to climb, but you know what? A night like tonight's really helping him.
It was a bit of a wonky...
So far, at least.
Yeah. It's been a bit of a wonky start to his season. He had a bit of a wonky start to the season with finishes of 17th, 19th, 19th, and 17th. Then he scored 2 top 10 finishes in a row, then 20th, and then 14th. And now here tonight, looking pretty good here. Plenty of stage points that'll certainly help him with the playoff picture. But again, 2 stages left. We have to wait and see here if he'll be able to keep up that momentum. And Will Kern was able to do that just a little bit with 9th. Not as perfect as what we saw back in stage 1.
But hey, it's still 2 points.
Exactly.
And let's see if we've got any movement here. I imagine if there's any, it'll be minimal. And again, still early for us to be like full on live tracking, but starting to get into the habit of it as, yeah, tonight will be 60% of the regular season completed once we're done.
Oh, how time flies.
Man, oh man, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that word can be used to describe everything that's happened here within Season 5 so far. Again, with the driver parity, the circuit parity, the multiple race winners we've had, how crazy the playoff picture has been. And we're seeing how crazy tonight's racing has been so far. Crazy in a positive way, because the racing's certainly been hard, but respectful. But then you have the 2 fatal words so far. Again.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just in the name of interest, like I do have the quote-unquote live standings in front of me here. Again, too early to take too much stock into it, but yeah, looking at the bubble, it's still the 1 point difference between Kyle Knoll and Charlie Sears, neither of whom picked up stage points. But if you go down half a step, 14, 15, and 16, Heaney, Binns, and Janikowski respectively, 2 points separating those 3.
Ooh.
With bins wedged right in the middle. It's 196, 195, 194.
And so what's the separation again for that final playoff spot?
Uno.
Oh, we got a 0?
No,
Or
1.
What?
Uno.
Oh, 1. Oh. Okay,
229 to 228.
Okay, still, yeah, there, because Kyle Knoll fell 1 spot short and making it 2.
Yeah, just missing out. But, I mean, obviously the second place finish in stage 1, that's what's got him moved up into the live playoff picture as it stands. But, you know what? Consistency is going to be key here. And, you know, Corbin MacAulay's proving it here with first and second here in the 2 opening stages. But, you know what? For the guys who are still looking to make that jump, there's still opportunities here. Just a matter of kind of keeping focused on what's in front of you as much as anything else.
And I was going to say here with this race summary up, you were talking about Jason Heaney. He's got the fastest lap.
Attaboy, Heaney. Let's go.
29.7 at 175 miles per hour on lap 59. So, was early in stage 2, but regardless, though, when someone like Jason Heaney is on very fresh tires, man, oh man, you got to watch out for him. We've seen a lot of guys, you know, come forward, fall back, but in terms of consistency so far, we've seen like Corbin MacAulay, Jordan Kalenian being the top guy so far. Darcy Ford's been up there. Jason Heaney is slowly starting to make his way up into being consistent up front. Will Kern started outside the top 10, made his way up towards the front, now is kind of back towards the bottom of the top 10. But maintaining his consistency there as Tom Janikowski has slowly made his way up, looking to score his first top 10 finish of the season. He's got plenty of top 15s. He had a streak of like 7 or 8 top 15 finishes in a row since the GTR 250 at Daytona. But looking to finally break it together and get into the top 10 for the first time, at least race-wise. He, again, did get 10th back there in stage 2. I mean, it's nice, Jordy, that the technical gremlin happened now instead of earlier.
Well, honestly, I was hoping for a crank it up to bail me out, but maybe that'll come later.
Yeah, we're going to wait just a little bit and see how this goes as the green flag is out for the third of 4 stages here tonight in the Piping Kettle 300. And yet again, second stage in a row, it's going to be a big jump from the number 17.
Yeah, he's just got a way of being able to bottle that field up and just absolutely maximize that attack. Something happened there.
Big save from Kyle Knoll going down the backstretch. Oh, caution's out. Oh, man.
Okay, I don't think the sheriff's going to help that one.
But I don't know if I see damage, though. He was close to the wall.
Yeah, we'd have to take another look at that one just to get a sense of it. Okay, so almost there. Alright, so...
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a weird wiggle there from the 93. And oh, man.
Chain reaction, but thank goodness, no wall hits or anything like that, just a couple of cars getting together, so nothing too major.
Yeah, he's able to hang on, but dare I say, well, I hope it's not a case of the chaotic Charlotte circuit deciding to flip the switch on us already. But, you know what? Good save from Janikowski, it has to be said. Good avoidance from Tomlinson as well, it has to be noted.
Yeah, I would argue too. That's lucky that he had that happen to him. Had that happen to himself there towards the end of the backstretch wall, but still applying those brakes just a little bit there. Whenever he was getting close to the wall there, that definitely helped him out. So thank goodness, just a a couple of good saves, and then a bit of a chain reaction between a couple cars there towards the back of the field. Thank goodness. Nothing too major. Hopefully Janikowski, who is on pit road, probably fixing a little bit of damage maybe on the back end of his car, the rear end. It looks like nothing too major out of that one, so as you were saying, maybe this might be the start of the calamity that we saw back last year. But the thing is, though, too, if this is a foreshadow, we're starting soft. We started soft on that one. How much more can we get?
Well, hopefully we won't have to go to too painstaking of lengths to find out, but
Yes.
yeah, would not be surprised as the stakes get higher, as I mentioned earlier. The track that you thought you had earlier, it suddenly might not be there anymore. As, you know, guys start to get a little more defensive with their positions, looking to lock in some points. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, we see a little bit more of this. Hopefully not 15 of them if you're listening, drivers. But yeah, as much as I want to say still a long way to go, this feels like where the night really begins for everybody.
Pace car lights are still on here on lap 109 of 200, so
Yeah, it'll take a bit of a chunk out
102
of
then.
the evening.
But as expected, MacAulay and Kalenian still leading the way up front. Jason Heaney at the bottom end of the podium. You know what, maybe my gut feeling about not doing the crank it up was good timing.
Seems fair, yeah.
The problem is, though, if what we just saw was the start of something, that might have been the worst timing.
Yeah, we'll see soon enough. Again, you kind of got myself mid-bite and mid-drink there, so apologies for the dead air. But we got to lock into this one, right? So that's part of it.
Yeah, we got to have some sort of vocal abilities for the next 100, or no, the next 91 laps.
Yeah, we are past the halfway point, but as I said, feels like things might be just getting started.
Should have taken a note that back here, Jason Butler remains the only car a couple laps down. Charlie Sears and Adam Wilson both back on the lead lap. Keep an eye on those two. We'll see if they'll be able to make their way up through the field, especially someone like Sears. Other than that, just kind of the same guys up front here. But again, recalling from last year, we had a lot of front runners eliminated by the end of the race. And I know, I believe Darcy Ford and Ty Higginbottom were both DNFs in last year's race.
Yeah, there's no way to decide anything just yet. Even part of me thinks that, kind of like last year, 200 laps won't be enough to settle this.
It was
Just a gut instinct.
It was 204 last year because we did require an overtime restart. So,
Speaking of restarts,
aggressive iRacing flagman waves the green flag to get stage 3 back underway. The number 17 with his one quadruple lift jump ever.
yeah, he's pretty much got that down to a science, it almost feels like.
Oh, Trevor Binns in the wall.
Whoa. And that looked like, was that Wilson maybe that drifted down off a wall contact? It was certainly a purple people eater.
Uncertain about that. There's a lot of close racing here. Nearly contact down the front stretch. Battles up at the bottom of the top 5, in the top 10. Justin Belmonte might have barely scratched the outside wall off of 2. Battle for third. Oh, man.
Yeah, a couple of former Charlotte winners there, and Magram and Ford getting reacquainted, shall we say. But, yeah, no quarter given by any of these drivers, it would appear. This is go time.
Indeed so. It's the second half of the race. You got to get yourself up towards the front. Try to stay consistent there all the way towards the final stage to the checkered flag. It's Kyle Knoll making his way back up to the top 10. Jason Heaney looks like he's starting to fall back just a bit. He was in third on the restart, but now has fallen back as far as 8th. Will Kern trying to make his way back up. Side by side for the race lead. Who else could it be?
Well, I mean, Darcy Ford wants a say in that. He's not letting these lead 2 get away.
None of these guys back in the bottom of the top 10 are getting away from each other.
Yeah, no, this is like... And it's pretty much entirely single file, but yeah, again, throw a couple of blankets over like the lion's share of the field, and you know, this is a pretty good start to the post-caution section of this stage.
Top 5 cars single file, and then we got double file action from at 6 on back all the way through the bottom of the top 10 and outside the top 10. Lots of pack racing going on.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we talked about how close this field seems to be over the course of the year. Now I think you're really seeing that exhibit play out here, because there have been a couple of runaways to start the season as guys have gotten familiar with one another, but it doesn't take long for these gaps to close, especially in kind of an underrated part of the series, in that guys are actually pretty supportive of each other in terms of, you know, trying to help each other find time and make it the overall best product it can be, while also still being competitive themselves.
Side by side for a second now. MacAulay starting to fall back. Darcy Ford trying to make his way up.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe that's a byproduct of those crazy jumps off the restarts that MacAulay can get. I wonder if maybe there's a little bit of tire cooking. It might be a little early in the stage to say that, but having that kind of a jump, you know, certainly there's energy that goes into that, as we've got somebody coming into pit lane. Hunter Young.
Hunter Young just came off of pit road. I wonder if I might see something on the right front. Don't know if something may have happened to him. But anyways, we move forward. Ooh.
Oh, boy.
No.
Yep.
Oh, Adam Wilson goes around. So does Mercado up the track. Collects Janikowski.
Yeah.
Caution. Oh, man. Jason Butler speeds right through. Hunter Young barely gets by.
Oh, a little tap there.
Caution out on lap 120. Collects multiple cars down the front stretch. I really thought they were somehow going to be able to get through that with everybody still going straight, but no. Something had to go.
Well, yeah, it was almost a bit of a chain reaction. It started with, I can't remember who it was that made contact with Belmonte off of that, and then the rest of the field sort of got discombobulated a little bit, and yeah, that's when things kind of went sideways, literally, for a lot of people.
Fontaine giving a bit of a dive there, push to Kern. Belmonte pushes him up the track. And then contact with Adam Wilson, Jose Mercado up the track. Tom Janikowski gets collected.
Yeah, not ideal, but again, feels almost standard for second half of Charlotte, doesn't it?
Ooh, Ryan O'Toole.
And yeah, good avoidance there on the end. Yeah, that little tap from Mercado, I don't know.
Yeah, just a chain reaction.
Probably, yeah, just thinking it's probably just him trying to get straight again. I doubt there was any intent to get into the side of Wilson there as they were getting straightened out. But a lot of things happening at once.
Even MacAulay and Ford got together a little bit there off of 4. Oh, and this is live. Ford just spun coming off of pit road.
Okay, we'll have to navigate back and figure out what happened there.
Yeah, it just went over a couple bumps. Might have been going a little too fast on the apron. But he gets it back going straight as Jordan Kalenian has the race lead. MacAulay second, William Kern in third. Yeah, pretty much everybody coming down pit road there under the caution. We'll see what some of these guys decided to do. Okay, so top 2 do not take tires. Or did not take tires.
Yeah, it feels a little bit early to make that call, especially operating on the presumption that the majority of the field would have taken the 4 tires in the stage 2 caution. A little bit early for the discard. Just kind of roll with what you've got, especially since, you know, now we've run all these extra laps under caution, not nearly as much wear either.
So we're quickly approaching the halfway point of the 3rd stage, not the final stage. Again, still 4 stages in this one compared to the 3 that we usually do every race here in the series.
Meanwhile, is that Sears just coming off pit road? Yeah, what's going on there?
Might just be waiting to get to the back of the field, probably.
Yeah, it might be a little more conventional than, we'll have to say, how it was done at Sonoma last week. That was just hilarious. But hey, it worked.
Meanwhile, Jason Butler, well, he was doing something. Now he's going around.
He was giving us a close-up of the pace car.
Yeah, good old Days of Thunder. Hit the pace car, hit the pace car.
Well, I mean, the way this pace car just aggressively cuts off on every restart, it's a wonder that something doesn't happen.
Hunter Young making his way back up to the field. There's 17 cars on the lead lap. There's Trevor Binns and Jason Butler coming back around. So Sears back to a lap down. He'll have to still remain patient to try and get back into this one. Make sure he stays as the top car a lap down. Marini and Hunter Young in his situation there as well. Jason Butler is going to need plenty of cautions and a couple guys in front of him to mess up if he wants to have any shot of getting a better position. But again, still plenty of time. Patience and endurance is what this race is all about, and we're going to see who is the best of the best here as we get back to green. It'll be 26 laps to go in stage 3. And now it looks like the 0 is going to get the jump on the restart. The 17 kind of did there as well.
I was going to say, not really a whole lot between them in terms of the overall reaction time. MacAulay not letting Kalenian get out of his sights, but 3 and 4, even Higginbotham and Kern going at it.
Former Piping Kettle 300 winner versus a guy making his debut in the Piping Kettle 300 and the NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue as well. Lots of close racing right here. Andy Hurdle has made his way up towards the front of the field.
How about that for a pretty quiet drive from 7, it has to be said? Because the last we really talked a lot about him, he'd qualified right around 5th or 6th, where he currently is. But at the start of the race, he'd fallen down the field a little bit. So we were wondering if he was playing the long game in the season's longest race. He may just well have been. And yeah, it's kind of a net positive or net 0, I guess, so far.
Ooh, Hurdle and Magram are playing a close game here for the 6th position. Darcy Ford's going to try to take advantage. He'll go up to the high side. Looks like he may give the number 1 a push. Kyle Knoll dives down below Adam Wilson for 9th. A couple of double file action going on here towards the bottom of the top 10.
And that's a great recovery drive from Adam Wilson as well. Of course, he took that early penalty on his first stop of the evening. And yeah, he's just been patient and eventually has been able to work his way back onto the lead lap, and yeah, here he is running in the top 10.
3-car battle here for the 3rd spot. Here comes Jason Heaney underneath the 31 for 4th. Oh, and Kern gets into the outside wall off of 4.
Yeah, that'll make it pretty much academic for Heaney, who's really hanging in there, because remember earlier in the stage we were seeing him start to fall off a little bit. I wonder if maybe there were tires in play for the 9 on his pit stop.
As you were saying, too, the number 97 making his way up there as well. Kalenian and MacAulay separated by about a 10th or so, but you could arguably put a blanket over the top 5. Now with 21 laps to go in stage 3. Darcy Ford and C.D. Magram going at it behind them for 6th.
Yeah, the patience, I mean, you still need it, but you start to see a little more movement on the track. Might be starting to get a little bit thin. Thank you, Visa, for that promo. Yeah, but, well, if we're talking about Visa, credit to all of these guys for staying where they are and just kind of keeping a level head.
Ooh.
That's an ambitious move from Wilson.
A lot of aggressive action, ambitious action going on right there between Kyle Knoll and Adam Wilson. Wilson trying to rebound from that earlier incident we saw with him and Jose Mercado, who is just behind him there in the 13th spot. Again, they're still keeping it straight now. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
ooh,
meanwhile,
man.
Yeesh, that was, yeah, Higginbotham and Heaney getting together, or getting reacquainted, shall we say. And yeah, don't look now, but in the midst of that battle that we just saw toward the end of the top 10, it was none other than Mason Tomlinson who was able to sneak in and grab that final points-paying position.
Oh man, we're side by side for 1st and 3rd. Here comes the 17, diving it down low on Kalenian. We're getting a bit of familiar vibes here from the Charlotte playoff race last year. Remember, it was pretty much a 4 or 5 car battle for the win.
And again, this is where we need to remind folks, this is stage 3.
Oh man, how about this? What if Jason Heaney comes out and wins a stage?
Hey, winning a stage is one thing. This dude's been competitive all night. What if he really upsets the apple cart here tonight?
That would certainly make things interesting towards the bottom of the playoff grid here. Now with 16 laps to go in stage 3. A pair of newcomers to the series side by side. You got 2 drivers behind them who have been here since the very beginning and have all the trauma in the world from the console days.
Yes, correct.
And don't count out Will Kern or Ty Higginbottom just yet. They're still in behind them. Ford looking to possibly give Heaney a push here going into 1 and 2. Or momentum, however you want to put it. We'll see if Heaney's able to clear the way for the lead, and indeed he will. The number 9 of Jason Heaney to the lead.
And don't look now, CD Mangrum trying to join this lead group here as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he does.
Oh man, Mercado trying to dive and make it almost 3 wide. There's going to be contact with Noel.
There was a touch.
The 15 slides up. Mercado gets past.
That's just a little love tap. Mercado loves the end result of that one, though. He grabs the position. Oh, man.
There's just there's stuff going on everywhere.
Yeah, and like I predicted roughly a lap ago, CD Mangrum's part of that lead group now. He's there. But look at Heaney take off. Wow.
Heaney is almost a second ahead of everybody else here. Meanwhile, Kalenian has second firm so far, but then we have a 5-car battle for third. Again.
Now, seeing Heaney take off the way he is right now, this will be a test to see just where the tires happen to be. And again, I speculated as to whether or not Heaney may have taken tires in that last pit stop under caution. Because again, he was falling down the field before. Oh man, this is getting tight. But
MacAulay giving Ford the tap.
That was absolutely a bump there. Yeah, Mangrum finding some pace.
This is a foreshadowing that we're getting here for the 4th and final stage. Holy moly, ladies and gentlemen, buckle the hell up.
I don't even know if the buckle will be sufficient.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you might need, like, borderline straitjacket almost by the end of this one.
Ooh, Higginbottom slides up in front of MacAulay right there. I'd keep an eye on this battle too, because a lot of these guys have had some close moments throughout the race, especially Mercado and Noel.
And honestly, they're really not that far away from the lead group.
So far, it looks like Heaney's able to hold off everybody so far, as he's a second ahead of Mangrum and Kalenian, who are now battling for the 2nd spot. The number 1 not able to clear just yet. Justin Belmonte getting aggressive against Will Kern.
Yeah, welcome to the series. Well, he is fitting in just fine here. Battling with some of the, what's the nice way to
the best
say
of the best?
The best of the best, absolutely. Because, I mean, everybody's got their own version of being aggressive, but ultimately it works out for a lot of these guys. So, you know what? Competition from top to bottom, absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Oh my gosh, Mangrum not afraid to be aggressive against the newcomer. The new kid on the block. Slides up the track. Man, oh man, how did they not go any further? How did Kalenian not tap the outside wall there? MacAulay just keeps falling back as Justin Belmonte looks to make his way up towards a potential top 5 stage finish.
Yes, old friends Belmonte and MacAulay together on track.
Yeah, I remember those first couple races last year.
Oh, I was thinking more back to Dover.
That too, yes.
But, yep, plenty of space given, and I think if you're Corbin MacAulay, yeah, you might be dropping a little bit, but 7 laps, well, 7 laps left in the stage, 6 I guess now. But initially my thought might have been conservation on the tires, but you know what? He might be ultimately playing a bit of a long game here. Save that last card that he might have up his sleeve.
Now it's just a matter of if Jason Heaney, like you said, can hang on over these guys to get the stage win. C.D. Mangrum and Ty Higginbottom are very clearly, judging by the timing here, are closing in.
Yeah, Mangrum has found a ton of pace recently, and yeah, I wonder if maybe Heaney's getting dangerously close to the edge of that cliff. Because that was a heck of a push from the 9 to get the advantage that he had. But yeah, 4 or 5 laps left in the stage. Might be a big ask for him to hang on for the full 10 points.
Yeah, pair of Tornado Alley guys now half a second back up the number 9. We're in for a potential wicked battle here to conclude this third stage out of 4 here in tonight's Piping Kettle 300. Coming to 4 laps to go. Will they catch up?
Yeah, and right now, well, I mean, still decent enough gap for Heaney, but again, the way Mangrum's been coming up, I wouldn't be surprised if we get maybe some fireworks going to the line here at the end of the stage, because if you remember, just a few laps ago, Mangrum was kind of on his own island there in 8th, trying to get up to this lead group. Now he's cleared them all.
Now here's the thing, Higginbottom is helping Mangrum.
Yeah, the Tornado Alley boys trying to make something happen. Not necessarily something out of nothing, because, you know, 2nd and 3rd is still very significant. But, you know, if they can nab that stage win, you know, it's just that added little bit of confidence going into the final stage here. And again, the most grueling event of the season.
Lots of stuff going on back here as drivers are trying to battle for that those final couple stage points. Will Kern might be in trouble with Kyle Knoll and Andy Hurdle right behind. Meanwhile, Kern's trying to battle up against Tomlinson for the 9th spot, try to grab an extra point there. As Jason Heaney is going to take the white flag for the 3rd stage. The Tornado Alley guys are not going to catch up. They're going to instead battle for that extra point.
Or are they swapping positions? Maybe Higginbottom's faster.
It could be that too. I mean, again, a pair of teammates trying to be respectful with each other there. But Jason Heaney 7/10 ahead, well on his way to a stage win, his first of the season. Coming off of 4, he's going to get it done. Look to carry that momentum into a potential race victory.
I absolutely love this.
And there's the stage caution. Andy Hurdle might have stolen that 10th spot from Knoll. He might have.
Yeah, we'll have to say consider everything unofficial, like everything that I've talked about. Definitely, you know, not official until it gets onto Sim Racer Hub. But you know what? I love what I'm seeing here.
This is the replay here. Oh man, Knoll and Kern got together for that final stage position. Look at this. Does Andy Hurdle steal it?
Well, he'd be stealing it from...
Oh, Knoll, I think, barely got it.
Yeah, he would have been stealing it from Knoll. A bit unlucky there for Will Kern at the end of the stage. But you know what? Great battles through the field once we got into kind of a green flag rhythm.
Now, if we're able to keep that momentum up, this is the race of the season.
Oh, yeah. 3 stages in, I'd say absolutely it is.
So Jason Heaney, Ty Higginbottom, and C.D. Mangrum are your stage 3 podium, and then it's Kalenian, Belmonte, top 5, Ford, Mercado, MacAulay, Tomlinson, And Noel rounding out the top 10 unofficially for Stage 3.
Yeah, that is, of course, the key word in all of this. Unofficial. As excited as we want to get about a lot of this, all unofficial.
But this right here is going to be very, very crucial, seeing what these guys decide to do during these pit stops.
Yeah, because realistically, I mean, I think we can pretty much assume that some kind of a wrench is going to get thrown into things, but if on the off chance it doesn't, you're looking at one more green flag pit stop.
Indeed, again, 25-30 laps of a fuel window. So we're gonna see how it all plays out here, probably around halfway through the stage or so. And again, you were saying you were loving this from Jason Heaney. He came out off a pit road first.
All right, this is, yeah, entirely different ball game for the 9 at this point. He's had his moments. He was very competitive at North Wilkesboro a couple of weeks ago, but leading this field into a restart here for the 4th and final stage, entirely different kettle of fish. So we'll see how his defensive driving skills stack up.
And it looks like Ryan O'Toole is our first and only DNF so far here tonight, 27 laps down. Well, it says pit on the leaderboard, but on my timing screen, he is not appearing. So I can only imagine he's done. Just hasn't... I imagine you can attest to this. It just has not been an ideal start to his Canadian eMotorsports Network career.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, he's had his moments, grabbed a stage point or two here and there, but yeah, just hasn't been able to kind of make that turn into solid results at the end of the night. So again, unfortunate for the 16 in this case, but you know what? He still keeps showing up. That's the best thing that we can say there in that particular case. He's a guy that just keeps on plugging away, keeps on fighting, and yeah, we'll be looking forward to seeing him again next week. Maybe not quite as close as we're seeing the safety car at the moment, but we're looking forward to seeing him nonetheless.
According to my calculations and my vision, I think what I see right there, judging by those two words, is a safety vehicle.
Yeah, I think that you don't need a translator for that.
What we can say are the pace car lights are off, so we're going to be going back to green with 45 laps to go in the Piping Kettle 300 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jason Heaney leading the way. C.D. Magram is second. Jordan Kalenian looking for 2 wins in a row and his 3rd win of the season. First on an oval. Then you got the 2 Tornado Alley guys right there on the outside front rows, and then Justin Belmonte and Darcy Ford, a pair of 6s, out of 4 to the title sponsor car in 6. Corbin MacAulay still not entirely out of this one just yet. Again, too, with that stage 1 win. Mason Tomlinson up there as well. Will Kern maintaining his top 10 consistency. Andy Hurdle at the very bottom end of the top 10. There's a couple guys like Adam Wilson, Jose Mercado, even Charlie Sears, who we've seen have solid runs on the ovals this season, especially Adam Wilson getting the win at Dover. But again, that was a short track. This is an intermediate, whole different beast. And we'll see how the endurance and patience all plays out here in this 4th and final stage. And so, we might as well get it done and over with in case the chaos starts to begin. TrackCams22.com, thank you very much for your support of the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. It's time for your good old crank it up. That was the trackcams22.com. Crank it up. Thank you very much to them for their support of the series and providing us with these incredible broadcast cameras that we get to take advantage of here on the iRacing platform for the Canadian E-Motorsports Network and Season 5 of the NASCAR Series, powered by Cos Fried Chicken and Barbecue. That might have been the quickest crank it up we've ever done, because I in no way in hell, and I imagine the same for you, there's no way in hell.
You can't take any chances with that.
Yeah, there's no way in hell we were going to try and keep it going with the way this racing's been, because you could put a blanket over the top 12.
This is so good, isn't it?
Oh! Contact up front!
Oh,
they're going to crash! Big crash on the backstretch!
Oh. Of course it would happen as soon as we came back. Oh.
I had a gut feeling.
Yeah, when it's 12 like that, just like I said earlier, that room you thought you had earlier in the night, it's not there anymore.
Multiple contenders involved in that one on lap 163, I believe it was. The leader's already passed there for 164. Man, oh man, that was inevitable.
Yeah, like you said, I'm glad we got back when we did. Yeah, this is gonna get hairy from here on.
So it looks like Magram got loose on the apron. Heaney got into the back of him, and then it was just a chain reaction from there.
Was Magram loose from a little bit of contact from Heaney, though? That'd be worth another look, as he tried to maybe pull out of 2. Yeah, maybe a little wobble there for me. Magram might have dipped the wheel under that line. And then that happened.
Hard hit for Adam Wilson. The front end off of on the number 6 completely torn off. But yeah, Magram had a bit of a wobble, and then the bump from Heaney from behind did not help. Probably wasn't seeing that coming for the number 1. And then from there, just guys getting together, chain reaction, nothing really that could have been done other than, well, that.
Yeah, like it was just a bit of an unintentional checkup as much as anything else once Magram got loose. Like, not really any fault to ascribe to the situation, I don't think. Just, you know, racing that got a little bit too hard, and yeah, it doesn't take much for things to literally go sideways.
Am I seeing this right? Hang on.
Hey, Kalenian went Ghostbusters there apparently, or...
Through 2
All
cars.
Right.
Oh, and then into the outside wall. That doesn't help.
Investigate his fuel after the race. It might actually be ectoplasm.
Riding along with Heaney. Yeah, still got into the wall though.
Yeah, was that him getting loose, or was that an additional piece of contact? Yeah, maybe a piece from Belmonte, just a little nudge, nothing huge, but again, in that kind of a pack, that kind of intensity, it really doesn't take much.
And so after all that, Belmonte, Kern, on pit road, it looks like Adam Wilson's back out. Kalenian's out. As in out on the track, not out of the race.
Yeah.
Kyle Knoll is not showing up on my timing screen. I wonder what's up with that. He's 4 laps down. Now he's back in this box. 5 laps down now.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd gotten caught up in anything, so that would have been a little bit strange, but, you know, we'll see what comes of it.
But Just an absolute tragedy for the number 9, who we saw slowly making his way up throughout the race. A lot of stage points in the first 2 stages, and then he caps it all off with the stage 3 win. And what do you know? Early in the final stage, just the chain reaction didn't really... I'd imagine he didn't expect CD Magram to have that moment there. Gives him the bump, makes them fall back, a bunch of cars catch up, and then there's just really nowhere to go. It's just a bunch of panicking.
But here's the thing. It's not over for those drivers. Like, Belmonte will come around. Like, realistically, still looking at 16 cars on the lead lap. And still, you know, a decent enough piece to go in this race where someone can still make a move. Like, not unheard of for something still, you know, potentially epic to happen.
So Will Kern, after that incident, okay, yeah, now he's out of his box, but he's going to need a lot of time. He's going to need to quickly catch up to this field if he still wants to be in it, but he's going to be a lap down. Luckily, Heaney, Wilson, and Belmonte, a couple of guys who took a couple hits there in that wreck, are still in the lead lap, although Belmonte doesn't have a front end. If you take the hood off, that car turns into a modified.
Well, I think we said the same thing about him at Dover, and he just turned into an absolute rocket before his night came to an unfortunate end. So, I'd still watch him.
As you've said many times, it's not over yet. And look at how many contenders we still have up front here. Mason Tomlinson has made his way up towards the front. Jose Mercado's back up. Trevor Binns, Tom Janikowski, Bryce Fountain, Charlie Sears back in the top 10 as the green flag waves with nearly 30 laps to go.
And how bad do you think the guy at the head of the field, CD Magram, finally wants to shed that label of most points without a win this year?
Well, yeah, like 148 points ahead of the cut line. That guy's well on his way to a playoff spot, but man, oh man, knowing him, it's been a while since he's won a race. He wants to win one, as Andy Hurdle really dove it in right there against Janikowski. Lots of action going on here throughout the field.
And honestly, it has to be said, some strange bedfellows here in the field. Not necessarily completely stacked with guys that we've seen at the top of the field over the course of the year. So a little bit of a mixed up running order, so to speak, compared to what we'd be accustomed to. But that just adds to the excitement factor of it all, doesn't it?
Indeed so. And keep an eye on Jordan Kalenian. Remember, he was involved in a couple incidents, including that recent one there, and then there was the one, I believe it was the one from a while back as well, and he's made his way back up to 7th, so the guy who won Stage 2, and if we look at his driver info tab, has led 68 laps. Oh my god, one short of a nice one.
I'm sure he'd love to lead the last one to make it a nice one.
Exactly, that's what very well could happen. Here tonight, CD Magram still hanging on to the lead single file action until 7th. And as I say that, Tomlinson and Darcy Ford are going to go at it here. Ford trying to make the title sponsor proud with his number 64 Piping Kettle Soup Co. Chevrolet. Looking to get onto the race end podium here. He'll have to get past Ty Higginbottom as well. Ford slipped a little bit right there. That's going to help Trevor Binns try to make his way up. Now Jordan Kalenian's going to try to take advantage as well. 33 trying to dive it in there, not able to. 64 stays ahead. Sorry, who the heck is that? Oh yeah, Justin Belmonte. Jeez, Justin Belmonte was on pit road. Now he makes his way off. Oh, look at this battle.
Oh man, don't tell me these positions don't mean things to these drivers. Like, look at this. This would be, what, that secondary pack? 8 through 12?
About that. I got a couple separate packs going at it.
Yeah, man, if they were all to come together again somehow. Woof.
And look at Kalenian really trying to use the high side. Ooh, Ty Higginbottom to the pit road.
Okay, that is very interesting, given the cautions that we've had, or the one caution I guess we've had in stage 4.
Well, look at this. Look at the laps since last pit.
Yeah, like it's not that big of a number.
Like they're only a couple laps away from the last window. Contact between Kalenian and Ford. Into 3. But they keep it going straight.
Benz will take advantage of that, though. He'll say thank you very much and move into the top 5.
Oh, but Ford is going to want to get that back, though, immediately.
Yeah, Andy Hurdle might have something to say about that, too. Like, he's just right on the back of the 64 here.
And now to the inside, down the backstretch. Into 3. Will the 7 clear? Yes, he will.
That was child's play. Like, I wonder if something happened to Darcy Ford's car in the midst of all that. Yeah, he just tumbled a couple of positions.
Jose Mercado on pit road.
Okay. I wonder, well, I mean, how many times have we seen guys not take tires? It's not like they won't have options.
Hurdle to the inside of Bins for 5th. Looks like, no, they're still going to be side by side, just barely down the backstretch. Darcy Ford's going to try to dive in and pierce his way into there as C.D. Magram and Tomlinson and Ford all down pit road.
I was going to say, I felt like it was inevitable for Ford to come down because, like, I'd seen him suddenly slowing down as Hurdle and Bins were going past. So, yeah, I figured that was him coming down in that particular case.
So these 3 guys are going to go for right sides. Magram sticks to right. Tomlinson is going to go, and Ford are both going to go for 4 tires. So Magram goes for 2. The other 2 going for 4. 2 + 2 = 4.
It does. And now, after the calamity we saw earlier, it's Jordan Kalenian leading. So he's recovered. Yes, we're in the final green flag pit window, but Kalenian's in it with a chance.
Bins takes 2 tires. MacAulay and Sears take 4.
Yeah, well, you'd have to think the advantage will be with those who go with 4, but we'll have to see, because now we're getting to the point as it looks like MacAulay is just exiting pit lane. Yeah, we're getting to the point where, you know what, 20 laps, maybe you can get away with 2. Maybe you can save those seconds. We're about to find out.
20 laps to go in the 5th annual Piping Kettle 300 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, round 9 of 22. Definitely looking to be the candidate for the new best race of the season so far. And it's Jordan Kalenian leading the way. But again, for laps since last pit, C.D. Magram is currently the top guy that did recently pit. Kalenian, though, he last pitted 17. Then you see a couple of guys here, 17, 17, 16, 16, 15. Are they going to have to pit late?
Whether it's pitting late or trying to take a chance, yeah, it's going to be dicey. I feel like fuel's going to dictate that to an extent as well.
And C.D. Magram is quickly catching up. Okay, I thought he was in a different spot there, but actually, no, it still makes sense. Magram trying his hardest to catch up to Kalenian to try and get back on the lead lap and have a shot at something here as Tom Janikowski makes his way to pit road.
Yeah, so, well, after Janikowski pits, what are we looking at? Top 4 yet to come in? 5?
Top 6 plus Hunter Young.
Well, I mean, Janikowski would be 6 and he's in.
Yeah.
So I was kind of eliminating him straight away.
But just judging by those that have pitted recently, CD Magram clears the way by far.
And we said he only took 2 tires, correct?
Yeah, because it was only a 9.6 second stop, so only 2 tires there. And then for someone like MacAulay who took 4, he had a 14.3.
So, yeah, we'll see how long the full 4 takes to come to life, and maybe that's the gamble that CD Magram's going for here as he looks for his first win of the season.
Yeah, we're going to see if drivers are able to bunch back up here towards the end, or perhaps it's either that, like they'll all naturally kind of get back together in some capacity, or are we going to have something happen somewhere on the track and have a late restart to decide this one?
I mean, it goes without saying, the guys who haven't pitted yet, I'm sure they'd love to see a yellow come out relatively soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety. There will be guys that want the caution. There will be guys that don't want the caution.
Yeah, because, like, if you just pitted, you're pretty much in no man's land, because you see, obviously, the guys get the advantage of a stop under yellow if they can stretch it out long enough for that to happen. If it does. Obviously, that brings a whole new set of challengers into the ballgame.
5 cars remaining on the lead lap here. Kalenian potentially trying to stretch things out, although, again, around 25 laps or so is when that fuel starts to really get dry and run out. So a lot of these guys will more than likely have to come down pit road sometime soon.
Yeah, it would be an ambitious effort, to say the very least, for any of these guys to make it to the end and maintain pace.
Magram very, very quickly catching up to the 0. Trying to get back on the lead lap. Meanwhile, Bryce Fontaine, Ty Higginbottom battling side by side. There's a potential, I would argue that this could be for the second position.
Yeah, net second it would appear. Again, just based on, yeah, who's yet to come in.
Then there's Corbin MacAulay right there, but a second back behind the 97. And again, with that 4-tire call, that would easily beat these guys up here.
Yeah, if he's able to get into an attacking position, like, I mean, look at how quickly he swallowed up Andy Hurdle here.
He's had a bit of difficulty there going through the corners. Oh, there we go. Kalenian to pit road.
Yeah, stretched it out as long as he could, I would suggest.
So he'll try to salvage at least a decent finish here, instead of going for 2 wins in a row again, unless something happens in these final 10 laps, as Andy Hurdle has now grabbed the race lead. But CD Magram is back on the lead lap, and just judging by how this is all cycling out, CD Magram will more than likely become the race leader. Bryce Fontaine, Ty Higginbottom, and Corbin MacAulay would be your net 2nd through 4th drivers. I mean, that'd be a hell of a finish for someone like the 22.
Yeah, I mean, all the talk about Will Kern making his debut tonight, how about Bryce Fontaine making his way up the field if he's able to hold on to this one? Again, in his only, what, 4th or 5th start? 4th, I believe. Maybe even only 3rd. Back to the raw data.
3rd. This is his 4th.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought, was that Yeah, Dover was the debut. That's right.
Yeah. Higginbottom getting past Fontaine on the high side. MacAulay trying to catch his way up to them. He's about 8/10 back. 8 laps to go for Andy Hurdle, who's still leading, but he hasn't pitted in 29 laps.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like, yeah, we were talking about the fuel window being 25 to 30. Yeah, a little cooler, maybe a little more grip, maybe a little more mileage. 37 laps seems like, a big ask, but we'll see. He's hanging on for now, though.
Yeah, Andy Hurdle, Adam Wilson, Jason Heaney, and Mike Marini might all try to stretch this out.
At this point, I think you almost have to if you're those four, don't you?
And I think I tragically clicked a button twice that I was not supposed to, so that's a bummer.
Well, I mean, it's back now. Pay no attention to the man
somewhat.
behind the curtain.
Somewhat. It's 5 laps to go. We're getting to the end anyways, unless someone decides to throw a yellow instead of keeping this thing green, but we'll see if these guys are able to stretch it out.
Yeah, now, what a story this would be. How many times have we seen Andy Hurdle trying to hang on in the NASCAR side of things? He's done well on the open wheel side, but just hasn't been able to break through in the NASCAR series. Admittedly, wasn't, his favorite discipline coming into the series 4 years ago, but this is a guy who's progressed, and this is a guy who's proven that he's more than capable of competing. We'll see if he's able to hang on, because, yeah, at this point, I don't think there's a question that he's going to try and stretch it to the end.
Coming to 3 laps to go, the number 7 of Andy Hurdle. He's been here for quite some time now, looking for that first NASCAR Series powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue win. It's incredible how he hasn't won one yet, but we're going to see here if he's going to be able to stretch it out and make his way to the end. Adam Wilson, Mike Marini in the same situation. Jason Heaney as well.
I mean, he won stage 3 that's not that long ago, if we recall. And you know what? He's taken the gamble trying to get most of that track position back. Good on him.
2 laps to go for the number 7. It would be an absolute miracle if he's able to stretch this one out. Austin Dillon style. Remember a couple of years back in the Coke 600?
Absolutely. And remember earlier I was talking at that point, I was suggesting it was a very quiet top 5 that Andy Hurdle was driving. How about a very quiet victory if this holds up?
White flag for the number 7 of Andy Hurdle in the 5th annual Piping Kettle 300. He is 1 lap away from his first career win if he's able to stretch it out right here. 8 seconds ahead of Adam Wilson.
Yeah, it seems like he's got a decent run of it here. He's not, just kind of keeping it consistent into 3 and 4. I think we're here, Reeves.
Make room for the number 7 Dorilton Ventures Chevrolet from 519 eRacing. Andy Hurdle, first career win in the NASCAR Series. How about that?
Man, oh man, I don't know if we would have predicted that going into tonight, but to suggest that's a well-deserved victory would be a very gross understatement. Again, this is a guy I was saying a few minutes ago. He's improved year over year, every year that he's been in the series. And tonight, it finally came together for him. And Andy Hurdle maybe getting a little bit of an assist from Jason Butler here at the end. But you know what? He did what he had to do. And there's, I think, a congratulatory little bump from Mangrum, or a congratulatory message. Mercado jumping in there as well. This
Everybody.
is gonna be a very, very popular victory, I would say.
And a hell of a lot better of an ending for these guys compared to what we saw last year.
Yeah, it's strange. It was like we were waiting for something to happen, and it just never did.
And Hurdle's since Hurdle's last stop, he stretched it out 35 laps.
That's impressive. There's something to be said for that. And I think that probably has to be at the lead of the line of questioning after a race that I forgot to stop the watch, but we'd come in at around 2 hours and 6 minutes, so significantly shorter than last year. Oh, and even MacAulay joining in on the action here.
Yeah, these three guys have been together for quite some time now in the Canadian eMotorsports network. So, this is very fitting. And indeed very popular. Especially for a lot of the veterans here in the series.
Yeah, Andy's just got to get to his photo op now. Might not be used to this side of things. Get the man in position.
Tragically, might not be able to get some smoke going under the tires, though. That's the only thing. But I don't think he gives a damn.
I mean, would you?
No.
Absolutely not.
Classic, the classic Austin Dillon right here. Classic.
Yeah, I mean, he did just enough, it would appear. There he goes briefly.
And then he falls off the face of the earth.
Well, we can't be having that.
So I'll see if... Yeah, it would help if his car was right there too, huh?
Yeah, I think that's probably the end goal.
So I don't know what's going to happen here in terms of a post-race winner interview here. I'll see if I'll be able to get him still in the server. So I'll check on that here.
Made over the course of those 3 years.
You can start repeating that, actually. No, I muted us originally there. Say that again.
Okay. Yeah, so while Reegs tries to find Andy and figure out what we're going to do for a post-race chat here, yeah, just, again, further reiterating what I was saying earlier, the progression that the number 7's made over the course of his 4 years in the NASCAR series, just fantastic to see. And you know what, he was able to hold on just the last caution. It was one of those kind of sink or swim moments. Again, it was a little bit cooler, and so maybe not as much of a worry about tires. And again, I alluded to it before, the fact that maybe it allows for fuel to stretch out a little bit. And yeah, just able to make it happen, running as lean as possible. And yeah, for the first time really in his career, Andy Hurdle doesn't have to worry about kind of being on the fringes of the playoffs. This dude is absolutely locked in, and he gets to, well, not necessarily chill for 6 weeks, but he's absolutely got, you know, less pressure. And I mentioned it before, this is absolutely going to be one of the more popular victories that you'll see within the network. 6th different driver to win in 9 races, so that's also nice. Amazing. And yeah, I wasn't intentionally going for that, but hey, it works. Yeah, but it's absolutely fantastic to see this happen, and the Dynamo from Dayton gets it done.
Absolutely. So I'm going to get in here and see if he's ready to be interviewed still in the server. Jordy, you go ahead and put some questions together, get them relayed to me as soon as you can.
Okay.
Mr. Andy Hurdle, do we have a copy?
I got you, Regan. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, buddy. Man, oh man, the driver, the number 7, 519 eRacing Chevrolet. Andy Hurdle, you've been here for a couple seasons now. Finally, you get your first win in the series. It's been a long time coming. You played the strategy absolutely perfect here in the 5th annual Piping Kettle 300 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're now locked into the playoffs. You can kind of breathe a sigh of relief for a couple weeks now. Man, oh man. And this, Jordy was saying too, this could very well be the most popular win of the season. Man, oh man, we got to hear from the man himself. How does it feel to finally have a NASCAR Series race trophy?
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. The way that it happened, running out of gas, and all the guys pushing me back to the start-finish line was really cool. Like Jason and Corbin were like my escort, and Ty and Jose and everybody were banging my door on the way back. So that made it feel awesome. All the work I've put in to try to understand how to drive these cars, and then it ended up being a fuel mileage win, but I'll still take it. It's awesome.
Absolutely, man. And just got to talk about it as well. This is pretty much the first time we're talking to you here within the iRacing era here live on the YouTube channel. Obviously, you know, we all experienced that transition to iRacing last season. A couple of drivers, you know, had their struggles and difficulties and such. I know we certainly witnessed you as one of them for sure. But man, oh man, in this season so far, you've certainly been able to pull off a better transition, and now with this first win in hand, I must imagine again, a sigh of relief. Just talk about what the transition's been to this platform and how everything you learned from last season came into this season, and just how you've been able to build up on all this momentum, especially now heading into tonight, getting the job done here at Charlotte.
Yeah, so, I mean, I started in Season 2 with you guys, and that was when we were still on console with Heat 5 and then also the F1 games for Open Wheel, and I was always super mid-pack there. I just felt like I never really got a handle on that driving style. And then when we switched to iRacing and switched to PC, I feel like the cars you can really feel them a lot more. It's more, I guess, realistic physics, which kind of just made sense in my head when I practice, how to drive these things. And it took a year. I mean, Corbin's been on the service for 10 years. Some of these guys have been around for a long time on PC already. So it definitely took a year of learning, and I'm by no means done learning. I have a lot still to learn from these guys. Tonight, I feel like I had maybe a 9th or 10th place car. I actually saved too many sets of tires. I should have used one earlier, so I blew that strategy, and then just rolled the dice with the last stop, and it ended up paying off. I was shocked that nobody was ahead of me, and then I realized when I coasted through the turns that I was making up enough fuel that I was actually going to just barely make it to the end. So I was just praying that there wasn't going to be a green-white checkered, because then I would have been, 20th at best. So yeah, just an awesome feeling. Hard work pays off. Great group of guys to race with. Great series to be a part of. You and Jordy do an awesome job every week. So yeah, just really happy.
And speaking of Jordy here, I can only imagine you'll be happy to hear from him here as he sent in a couple questions. You might have already answered one in there, but I'll ask it again. He said, Andy effing Hurdle, huge congratulations, man. What a run. The first question was, when were you able to figure out that you had enough to make the long run work out?
So at like 20 to go, I thought for sure I was going to have to pit. And then by about 11 or 12 to go, I started getting into a rhythm, running pretty consistent lap times, obviously several seconds off the pace, just trying to conserve fuel through the turns and then maintain a good, it was kind of a momentum drive. I didn't touch the brake pedal the last 15 laps of the race, just trying to keep my speed up. I realized with 10 to go is possible. with 5 to go, my knees started shaking a little bit when I realized nobody behind me was going to gain. As long as I had enough fuel to cross the line, I was going to make it. So, yeah, just awesome.
Indeed, man. And his second and final question here is, you've been in enough of these Charlotte races to know that not everything goes as planned. I mean, I imagine you remember the chaos that we had in last year's World 300, world of a difference, haha, that we had here in this year's race, of course. But, you know, being in enough of them, his question is, what was the biggest key to you keeping focused on what you had to do and just not worrying about what could have gone on around you?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of just how I drive every week. I feel like stock cars are the most difficult for me just because you almost have to focus on what's going on around you. At any given race, there's, you know, a 20-30% chance that you're just going to get collected in something that happens right in front of you, and it's not your fault. So you kind of just have to go into it with the mindset of you're not totally in control of your own destiny. So I just try and focus on, you know, what I am able to control, which is clean driving, not making mistakes myself, which I think, even though I'm not the fastest guy around, I'm known as a clean driver, which I strive for, and I'm proud of that. And, you know, hitting my marks in the pits, I try not to get any penalties. I get really mad at myself for like days after the race, as you guys in our Facebook chat know, if I screw up and get a pit road penalty or something like that. So, yeah, just trying to stay in control of what I can and not worry about what I can't, which is, I think, a good lesson for life in general. I'm kind of an anxious person anyway, so iRacing kind of translates into that and helps me out a little bit. So, yep.
For sure. And now, you know, again, being the first time talking to you here, you know, all this, you know, the relationship you have with 519 eRacing and, you know, being with Jason Butler and Darcy Ford, the guys who have been here since the very beginning in the Canadian eMotorsports Network. Just talk about what it's meant to, you know, be partnered with them and what it's meant to have the support from them throughout your time here in the series, and especially with the transition to iRacing and just how this season's gone overall. Because, I mean, you and Ford every week have become, you know, consistent weekly contenders, and now you're able to finally get 519 eRacing back into victory lane here tonight at Charlotte. So just, again, talk about what it's meant to have their support and what it means to be on that team.
Yeah, I mean, from day one of messaging the league and asking to join when no one had ever heard of me before, then, you know, I got paired up with Jason. He was looking for a teammate. Personality-wise, we hit it off right away. We've got like the same kind of goofy sense of humor. We went up to my wife and I drove up to see him last summer and stayed there and met his wife, and it was really cool. So, you know, he's been really busy and not able to put in as much practice as he would like for these weekly races right now. And, you know, we all have other lives to attend to. In the end of the day, it's a video game. It's an awesome simulation, but at the end of the day, we've got other stuff going on. So just really happy to kind of fly that flag for 519 that Jason founded and try and do some big things. I seem to have a knack for the big events. Yeah, I won the first Indy 250 a couple of years ago, and now this is the other Memorial Day weekend big race, so that's pretty cool. And then earlier this year got the Daytona 500 pole, which was another cool experience. So anything I can do to help out Jason and Darcy and get the team some publicity, and Rampage Coffee and the Soup Kitchen and all the other sponsors that we've had over the years, it's pretty cool.
Indeed, it is cool, and, you know, again, we do this with every post-race winner interview. Andy Hurdle, who would you like to thank for being able to come on out here every single Tuesday night and get the job done like you did tonight?
Yeah, first of all, got to thank you and Jordy. You guys do an awesome job every week to put this on YouTube and get us out there on social media. I know you're a journalist and your writing is amazing, and Jordy could be a professional commentator if he chose to. So to have you guys calling our races is really neat. And I know some of my friends and family have tuned in to watch that. And other than that, I mean, I got to thank Jason and Darcy and Corbin and Ty and all the admins. We get together and we banter throughout the week. It's a great social outlet at my stage in life right now. College is behind me. I don't see a lot of my friends because they've scattered all over the country, and I get to hang out with them once or twice a year. So to have this as not only a cool competition but also a social group is really great. So thank you to all of those guys as well.
For sure. And now, moving forward, you are now officially locked into the 5th annual Ross Cup playoffs. So, moving forward for the next couple of weeks, what's going to be kind of your number one goal to keep up this momentum going into the playoffs? You want to kind of take it easy, or do you want to still go for it, get some extra points, and even try to go for some extra wins in the next couple of weeks, especially with this upcoming stretch of races that we have at races like Iowa next week. We also have Monza, we got Pocono, we got Indianapolis, we got Rockingham to finish off the regular season. Like, what's it going to take to keep up this momentum moving forward, and what's going to be kind of your mindset approaching the playoffs?
Well, it's definitely not my style to ever take it easy. So I'm going to give 100% every week, even though I'm already locked in. It's nice to have that cushion, but there's still, a lot of work to be done and a lot of points to be gained. So, I enjoy practicing with the guys throughout the week and learning the different tracks and how the cars behave on the different surfaces. iRacing is awesome for that with the scanned tracks and how the cars handle. So, yeah, just keep doing what I've been doing. It's frustrating at times, but it's also the level of competition in this league is so high. I told somebody in the chat a couple days ago that it feels like, even though I haven't worked hard on my iRating in the official series yet, it feels like the top 15 or so of this league is a really high split. There's a lot of really talented guys, and even just getting a top 10 is a huge accomplishment. So if I can rack up a few more top 5s and contend for some wins, that would be great.
Great to hear. That's what we love to hear in the Canadian eMotorsports Network. Of course, that was the number 7 of Andy Hurdle for 519 eRacing. The number 7 519 eRacing Chevrolet from Dayton, Ohio. So his first career win in the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. First career win, first win of Season 5. He becomes the 6th driver to lock himself into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs. A long overdue win for you, Andy. Congratulations. Go celebrate it as much as you possibly can, safely as well, of course. And hopefully this momentum keeps up for you. Glad to talk to you for the first time, buddy. Once again, congratulations.
Thanks a bunch, Regan. Appreciate it.
And so there you have it right there. That was the number 7 of Andy Hurdle. Post-race winner interview for the 5th annual Piping Kettle 300 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And so it looks like I have a bit of technical issues going on back here, so I don't know if I can get some perfect results here. I'll probably have to go to our faces here just for a second to see if I can get something of some sort. Okay, this will make sense. I'll have to say them verbally because, again, my stuff is a little bit screwed up here. So, from what I can tell here within the server, Andy Hurdle obviously getting the win here tonight. Adam Wilson finishing in second. A hell of a rebound after a crash earlier a couple crashes earlier in the race, as a matter of fact. C.D. Magrum finishing in third. Mike Marini finishes fourth. A hell of a rebound after last year's race. I mean, again, Jordy, we saw him going up and over on the backstretch late in the World 300. Jason Heaney had a bit of a near catastrophic time there in that big one early in stage 3, I should say, but he comes home with a top 5 finish regardless. Jordan Kalenian, the pole sitter, 6th. Ty Higginbottom, 7th. Bryce Fontaine gets a top 10. So does Corbin MacAulay. Mason Tomlinson rounding at the top 10. Tom Janikowski falls just short of a top 10, but a hell of a run today. Charlie Sears in 12th was able to rebound after being a lap down early on in the race. Jose Mercado is the first car not on the lead laps, so 13 cars finished on the lead lap. Darcy Ford got 13th, and then there's Jose Mercado in 14th, Trevor Binns 15th, Justin Belmonte 16th, Hunter Young 17th, William Kern gets 18th, 2 laps down in his first career start. Just a perfect start, but a tragic ending to his first career race. But now we know all the potential that he's got to be a weekly contender here in the NASCAR Series up until the playoffs. Kyle Nolan 19th, 5 laps down. Jason Butler 20th at 7 laps down. And Ryan O'Toole rounds out the 21 car field at 74 laps down. His bad luck unfortunately continues, but man, oh man, Jordy, like I said earlier, a world of a difference that we got compared to last year's race. 300-mile, 200-lap race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. By far, quintessential best race of the season.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point to make, Riggs. Like, it was weird. Like, we almost felt like we were just waiting for something to happen. And, really, by comparison, 30 to 35 laps remaining for the last caution to come. That's a borderline miracle compared to where it was a season ago. So it was good to see it actually get decided on the track. And, it was great to see guys who were able to capitalize on the strategies, make things work at the end, as you were talking about with Andy in the post-race interview. And again, it rewarded a guy like Jason Heaney as well. And like, he was a guy that he was battling for the win before that last caution came out. And yeah, ultimately he decided to go long. He takes home a top 5 as a result. And that's going to be huge for his playoff standing. And I mean, he picked up 17 stage points tonight as well. So that paired with a top 5 for him, like, that's a pretty solid run, it has to be said, for him. And you know what? You look at other guys who are kind of on the periphery of the playoff picture. I kind of predicted it at the start of the evening. It's going to make things a lot tighter. And yeah, this is going to be a real turning point. And I'm glad it happened in such a positive manner, it has to be said.
Indeed, after everything that happened last year, of course, with those 15 cautions, obviously. So now checking out, the race has finally come up here on Sim Racer Hub, which is where we keep all of our statistics for everything. And to hear the differences, this race was 2 hours and 6 minutes with 10 leaders and 17 lead changes, 6 cautions for 24 laps.
Just a little different.
Which that compares to, I have my info here somewhere. That compares to 2 hours and 42 minutes, 6 different leaders, 15 lead changes, and 15 cautions for 60 laps.
Yeah, just a little bit cleaner, honestly. And I mean, like, not to say it was like dirty last year per se, but nice to see it was not as influenced by incidents, I guess, is where I'm going with that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely perfect sense right there. We did obviously have a couple wrecks, a couple accidents, including a big one there. Well, I guess kind of a big one to an extent in stage 3. I'd even argue against that. It was only like 3-4 cars, really, only a couple of cars really going spinning around. But anyways, with all that being said, after Andy Hurdle gets his first career win, we now look at the schedule moving forward with 2 races remaining in the month of May, which, yeah, we're literally going to be halfway through May within a day or so, which is absolutely wild to think about. But 4, 5, 6 races now left until the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs. 6 races remaining, 6 spots now remaining. We got Corbin MacAulay, Ty Higginbottom, Jordan Kalenian, Jared Ireland, Adam Wilson, and Andy Hurdle are currently your 6 drivers locked into the playoff field. Only 6 spots remain, and we can only imagine the battle for that 12th and final spot heading into Iowa Speedway next week on Tuesday, May 21st. It's going to continue to ramp up. It's going to be the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 250, so the series' title sponsor will also be a race title sponsor. Great to have that support from them, obviously. But yeah, Jordy, a looking into next week with some more short track, back to some short track action. Remember a couple weeks back, what we saw at Dover and North Wilkesboro as well. Oh, I'm finding it hard to really put into words about what's happened recently, what happened tonight, and what's coming up.
I mean, you can't really miss a second of it, not to get all like corporate salesman on you or anything like that, but literally there's like something amazing happens every other week, whether it was, again, Jordan Kalenian's dominance last week or the absolute madness of North Wilkesboro a couple weeks ago. And then obviously the much heralded victory of Andy Hurdle here tonight. Like literally every race from here on in will have an impact on how things go, not just in the regular season, but moving forward beyond that, because you know what? 6 races to go in the regular season, and then obviously your 7 rounds of playoffs. It's just, you know, every race matters just that much more, and the opportunities to make your mark, they just shrink and shrink with every passing week. So literally, yeah, you got to be on your game from green flag to checkered, honestly, and yeah, there's no turning back at this point.
Absolutely no turning back now for the number 7 of Andy Hurdle. Again, first career win in the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Long overdue for the veteran who's been here since the 2nd season of operation, and now he can breathe a sigh of relief, throw that monkey off his shoulders, and can get ready for the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs. Our run towards then continues next week with round 10 of 22 at Iowa Speedway on Tuesday, May 21st at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Atlantic. Live coverage begins at that time, or just past that time, here on this YouTube channel, so you will not want to miss any of the action. It's the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 250 coming up. So tonight, it was the Piping Kettle 300 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Andy Hurdle going to victory lane. A hell of a race, by far the best we've had all season long. And man, oh man, there's going to be plenty of races that coming up that are going to try and take that title away, and that's going to be quite the competition we see on that end, and obviously on the track as well with this driver parity that we've seen through 9 rounds so far. So we hope you enjoyed tonight's live production of Canadian eMotorsports Network action for Season 5 of the NASCAR Series. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. On behalf of Jordy Carraher, my fellow color commentator who's been here since the very beginning, on the other side of the country in Alberta, Canada, the Canadian eMotorsports Network Competition Committee, all sponsors and partners, and everybody involved in the network, my name is Regan MacAulay from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's live production. We'll see you all next week, Tuesday, May 21st, for the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 250, round 10 of 22 at Iowa Speedway. Take care, everybody, and have a good one. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.